It's interesting because it reminds me so much of you saying in your video, like, you didn't believe that you're funny or you're worried that you're not funny. I think out of all the things that came out of that apology video, people were shocked that you had these ideas about yourself that seemed to be like the antithesis of who you were online, right? Like, you as an image online come off as like confidently, like, you know that you're funny.
I haven't watched Turkey Tom in 11 months, and today we'll be watching Turkey Tom. Yeah, Turkey Tom put out a new Decay of iDubbbz's video that contains every single thing that's ever happened to him ever with nothing missing. All of the context is perfect. There's absolutely nothing in here that would be needing of critique, or so I've been told. And I'm actually looking forward to watching this. It's probably going to be refreshing to watch a video on iDubbbz's where nobody plays dress up like a police officer. I think, unless Tom does that, in which case, at this point, I don't really know. I feel like the parody thing has run its course after about a month. I don't think I can really watch another one. I think Nerd City has alleged that Turkey Tom has massively talked me and then slandered all of his friends. So that was interesting. Did anybody see that? I wasn't even gonna pull that up. I assume he means me because fat guy. I assume he means me. I feel like I'm the iconic fat friend of Turkey Tom. It could be anybody, but I'm going to assume it's me. But I saw this today. People are like, why don't you like Turkey Tom? It's like, he should not be trusted. He should not be allowed in an Uber with people. Here it is. Yeah, I saw this today. Dude, he's a very interesting guy. He's a very sophisticated man. All right, let me see this. I saw this. This is our last little intro tidbit before we watch the video. So, Rusty Cage, literal Who meetup, and then Nerd City chimes in and be like, no, not Turkey Tom. Sorry, I gotta wiggling. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know he hated Tom. Obviously, Rusty Cage is here. That's fucking Oompaville, right? Am I completely off? I think that's Oompaville. And someone goes, Nerd City, what's wrong with Tom? And he goes, he talked trash about a big fat friend of his all day long. I mean, all day long in a group chat. But then he sent him the screenshots of other people agreeing with his points. YouTubers should not even share an Uber with that guy. He's a hypocrite, a backstabber, and a sociopathic copycat. I'm like, well, I gotta be honest with you. The context clues of big fat friend scream he's talking about me. Maybe I'm self-inserting here. Maybe there's another fat friend of Turkey Tom's because, like,
can I say something to you, Nick?
I don't remember him doing that. I don't think he ever snaked Nerd City. I have no idea what he's talking about in terms, like, he might have talked shit. Everyone talks shit in, like, group chats and stuff. I have no problem with that. I don't remember him. What he's alleging is that Tom went in there, presented an argument as to why X person is a complete piece of shit, and then screenshotted all the replies to his messages and leaked those, acting like he didn't participate. The problem is, I don't think that ever happened. I have no knowledge of Turkey Tom linking me a bunch of messages, or so if it is about me, I don't think that's ever happened. For the most part, Tom stays out of drama, so I have no idea.
Content strategy problems here, Nick. I'll help you maximize your money, all right?
Wait a minute.
Big Bungie just dropped what I believe is his first video made entirely after his ban.
Really?
And it's on Bo Black's The Evil Man Who Got
There's
Him
no
Banned.
way I can watch it on
Good
stream.
video, I am pretty sure is YT safe as well.
Yeah, there's no way.
He also vows
There's
to
no
come
way.
back.
Nothing is YT safe when you're watching a band creator on stream. There's just no way to watch
What's the name
it.
of the guy? Keemstar Orbiter? Nick Oreo. Mr. Oreo.
Couldn't be you because you and you and Tom aren't friends. The only thing he could possibly be talking about here is, like, when he used to talk shit about me. Is it possible? So Turkey Tom did go on Dead on Dave's stream and did an interview with Dave and trashed me in 2019. I remember this because it's right before we became friends. And around that same time, he leaked the NCO group chat with, like, the Keemstar shit, where, like, Keemstar was doxing Just Destiny. And he did send me screenshots of what people were saying in that group chat. But I can't imagine that Nerd City is holding a grudge from 6 years ago. I didn't even consider that. I'm only remembering this in real time. The only thing that even remotely sounds similar to this is from 6 years ago. And I can't imagine that that happened. Is that possible? Is he that fucking crazy? Or it has to be something more recent? Because Tom absolutely hated me around this time, and we turned him, dude. We turned him to the light side. That sounds in character. Unironically, it does kind of sound in character What is this? No hate, nerd, but isn't that just 90% of the commentary? No, just the really shitty ones. Are you willing to produce these messages of Tom saying big things about who's presumably big fat DeOrio? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing
What's
here.
The
He
name
never
of
actually.
the guy, Keemstar Orbiter, Nick
Said it.
Oreo, Mr. Oreo.
I mean, that was I don't know. I found that interesting, but yeah.
Can I say something to you, Nick?
Is it sad
really
information
like
to announce that Shoe on Head became a bad person by becoming transphobic? What makes you say that? All right. Let's watch this fucking thing. Who's ready to watch this fucking video? We're gonna steal this one. We're gonna completely. I'm actually. So guys, listen. All right.
Can I say something? To
I'm
you, Nick?
gonna say something to you
really
right now,
like-
guys.
Why?
All right. Turkey Tom has told me explicitly that I do not have his permission to watch this on stream. So what we're going to do is we are going to steal all of his viewership. Yes! You heard it here first, chat. We're doing it with the express malicious... I'm kidding. Okay, don't get me in trouble. No lawyers here.
In 2010's YouTube, no name was more respected than iDubbbz's.
It's so sad. This is accurate. Oh,
who,
God.
through his content cop videos, became the executioner of content creators. Leafy, Rice Gum, the
Okay, I already disagree. This video sucks. I hate it. Holy fuck,
What's the name
dude.
of the guy,
Tom!
Keemstar Orbiter, Nick Oreo, Mr. Oreo.
That's not even true! We're
For the
fucking
goal.
10 seconds
Hi,
in! That's wrong!
videos.
He didn't end Rice Gum. The Rice Gum content cop was the first one that was like, oh shit, this one didn't have an impact. It sounds cringy and annoying to say right now in current day.
Nicholas!
Right? But like back when content cops were coming out, everyone just kind of assumed that if one was made on you, it would like destroy your entire fucking career. Obviously, as like a species, as human beings, we've moved on past like one video to rule them all. We'll eliminate every content creator. But unironically, the first time people realized that you could survive a content cop was literally Rice Gum. That is the worst example you can pick.
Became the executioner of content creators. Leafy, Rice Gum, The Fine Bros, Tana Mojo.
But then again, like, fucking Keemstar brutalized right through it. But even then, though, the reason why Keemstar wasn't considered somebody who survived his content cop is it happened, and then right after all of that happened, the Leafy and Grade stuff took him out for like a year. So there was a period of time prior to the Rice Gum content cop where Keemstar was completely obliterated following this content cop video, and it wasn't necessarily because of the content cop. It was more just kind of like the culture around it. But the reason why content cop was so successful was that culture, right? Everyone was kind of locked in whenever like the current thing was going on. That's kind of how commentary's always been. Whenever the current thing is going on, everyone's covering current thing. Keemstar became current thing. Leafy was current thing. Rice Gum, not so much current thing. Probably would have hit better on Jake Paul. People get more confident and they think they can branch out and do the same kind of numbers covering topics that aren't current thing. And then when you do that, you find out, no, people actually do want to watch current thing.
Keemstar, you name them, and he either successfully glassed
Do you intend to stream your taskbar? Yeah, I love it, dude. You know what? I can love it even more if I make it bigger.
their online careers or severely damaged their reputation. So much so that many of his targets aren't even remembered. Fast forward
That's how I stamped the date on here.
just a few years, and he's debased himself to the point where anyone can
Is it defaced or debased?
even remembered. Fast forward just a few years, and he's debased himself to the point where
It's debate. I thought it was defaced. Is it not defaced?
aren't even remembered. Fast forward just a few years, and he's debased
It's debased. Wait, that's actually funny. So instead of based, you can be debased. You can have your based removed. That's pretty fucking based.
himself to the point where anyone can take a shot at him free of consequences. As hard as it is to understand how an
Dude, whoa, dude. Holy shit.
outsider to the
Bro,
influencer sphere was embraced by the public as their judge, it's even harder to understand why
I didn't realize he was making this on the Palestine conflict.
he chose to self-destruct in such a pitiful way. Unlike many people
Oh god, he's doing the Sunny V2 thing where you like pronounce a word wrong on purpose so people point it out.
harder to understand why he chose to self-destruct in such a pitiful way.
What do you mean pitiful? Pitiful? Pitiful. pitiful.
Unlike many people whose demise comes as they fall out of mainstream appeal and get tangled up in controversy, iDubbbz was the opposite. He diligently grew his audience by engaging in the most vile and offensive antics imaginable.
Tweet.
Thank you. He's just
Nicholas
reading from
DeOrio.
Kiwi Farms. Well, they should have monetized it sooner. I don't know.
I refuse to believe you don't know those are two separate words.
They're not.
You literally are doing it to get us to pay you. And it's working.
Say Nick.
Whoa!
I'm gay. Oh, it's a single piece of paper that says Nick. Everyone type Alex the stupid.
I could honestly go on and on compiling
I have osteoporosis. I remember that. Dude, that one speaks to me.
clips of that sort because
Dude, Turkey Tom just played his highlight reel.
those were his bread and butter. And he wasn't only liked for it, he was loved for it. A good comparison, which will become pretty apt when we get to their falling out, is H3H3, who used to do a similar kind of content.
Bro, Tom is locked in right now. All we need. I can smell it. I can smell it. I can smell it. It's coming. It's coming.
Where he dunked on low-hanging fruit targets, sometimes going as far as to make fun of cringy kids. However, H3 simultaneously did serious attempts at calling out situations he saw as injustices, not only on
Bro, do you guys remember Ajit Pai? Chat.
obviously did serious
Do you
attempts
remember
at
when they thought this guy was gonna like destroy the whole fucking internet? Dude, Ajit Pai wants to stop this thing immediately, dude. He's gonna destroy the internet. Does anybody remember the fear-mongering associated with this when they started showing like EA Sports packs or whatever? Like that's how you unlock Verizon Wireless and Google. You have to buy the micro expansion to access like websites and shit. Holy fuck, was that stuff not? Do you guys remember Drummer 828? He had like a beef with Tommy C, and they were friends up until the exact moment. What was the thing even called, dude? I'm forgetting. They removed it. Was the thing that was removed or whatever that Obama put back in that didn't matter. Fuck, what was it? What was the actual thing? It was net neutrality. Yeah, he wants to repeal net neutrality. Then we didn't have net neutrality, and then nothing changed. And then net neutrality came back, and nothing changed again. So that was cool. That was awesome. I was pretty happy about that. And then Drummer 828 like hit up Tommy and he goes, "Why the fuck are you saying that net neutrality doesn't matter, Tommy? Don't you realize that you pay the bills with this YouTube channel? Do you understand that your business will come to a steaming halt immediately if net neutrality is passed? Within minutes, they will destroy everything we've built on everything. Everyone that you love will turn to dust and blow away." And it's just like, dude, it never happened. It literally never happened.
Out situations he saw as injustices, not only on YouTube, but in general, pivoting away from content that was just meant to be comedic and trying to legitimize himself as a social commentator by punching up. As this pivot gradually took place, H3 decidedly became part of the greater community, and for the most part, became a lot less controversial, at least for a while. Meanwhile, iDubbbz brazenly made fun.
Nick, you do the same thing with the H3 lawsuits? Don't lie. Wait,
recommend
which
watching
H3
Nicholas
lawsuits?
DeOrio's latest video.
Which H3 lawsuits did we do that for?
of anyone who wandered
Like the Matt Haas one like 6 years ago?
into his crosshairs, whether they were disabled,
My name is Pisces Sakono, and I'm here to say, you iDubbbz's with your f***ing ass cockamamie bullshit.
To be honest, I would have called that guy the N-word too. No, I wouldn't actually. There's actually no clips of me saying the N-word online, so I'm clean.
You iDubbbz's with your f***ing ass cockamamie bullshit.
Okay, literally last stream, I'm getting one guide one time and only one time. If anybody has any issues with any light minor reservations that I have with the H3 lawsuit, which again, totally fucking reasonable. You're absolutely delusional. I encourage you to watch the VOD tomorrow.
or schizos,
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Schizophonic TV. This is Lucic Diamond Eyes.
Dude,
Dude, the internet was a better time, bro. This is a better time of the internet.
he literally cannot help the beatboxing. It's like his Tourette's.
none of it mattered. No target was too
You know what's interesting? We keep fucking micromanaging this video right now. Early Ian didn't have like the confidence in his voice either. I noticed that recently when I was watching his Jinx video. That was really only in like the more recent content cops that I remember.
This is Lucic Diamond Eyes.
Dude, he literally cannot help the beatboxing. It's like his Tourette's.
That's so weird. I actually, let me pull up what I saw today. I was looking, because like, here, let me show you like a recent content cop, like even like the Leafy one. recent. Recent. Because I was watching the Jinx one, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be going back. All content cops in order. I think one of these blew up, and then all of them blew up. Am I wrong? I don't think the original content cop blew up immediately. But, like, if you watch a more recent video that they made, like the Jake Paul... Oh, that's not the Jake, that's the other one. Like the Leafy response... Here's Tana.
What we do here is go.
Playlist Live. Now this is a story all about how I was involved in a shooting.
Like, he's got his whole thing down here. At this point, like, the way that he speaks is, like, his cadence is here.
Was take this word that she's so fucking passionate about that she tweets at me, kill yourself, and that she'll vilify me on her live streams about.
Like, he's already in character by this point. But I was watching the Jinx one today, and it kind of felt like... Well, it felt like Cameron's video again, who obviously we're not promoting because I don't want to get involved whatever rat's nest of shit that's on his channel. That's why that segment never came out. But people always message me like, dude, the skits in that video were so cringy and annoying. And it's just like... Yeah, I mean, this is pretty fucking cringy. Pretty as advertised, yeah. I didn't even know this is where that screenshot comes from. That's in everybody's thumbnail. That's the point. Well, that's what I was trying to say initially when we were talking about it. As far as parodies go, the cringier the better, because apparently that's what we're dealing with here. But, dude, I was dying, bro. When I was watching iDubbbz's, and he's like, all right, well, how do we go after Jinx? And he's like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on a bucket hat.
Keemstar Orbiter, Nick
Bro,
DeOrio,
what
Mr.
the
Oreo.
fuck?
MFAO. Do more.
But again, he sounds like a soy bitch in this video. He has no, like, cadence at all.
And positive comments saying, LMFAO, do more, please. On today's episode of Content Cop, we're going to be looking at Jinx Reloaded.
Doesn't he sound like somebody who's doing a content cop, like pretending to be iDubbbz's?
I mean, reload. It would make too much sense if it was called Jinx Reloaded. Let's start things off with an education. How to get YouTube famous.
I don't know. I don't think this was like the first one though. But where's the one where he just drops the N-bomb like right in the video? Like it wasn't. It just came out of nowhere.
Because he has a different backdrop every 4 videos. Don't misunderstand me now. I'm not talking about his bedroom. That all stays the same. What I'm talking about.
It's gotta come to see, you know, their personality or their reactions to things.
I really like the subtext there. They're coming to see the personality or the reaction.
All right, I know how to find it. This video is not very long.
Can I say something to you, Nick?
If there's no transcript? Oh my god, bro. It's gotta be like
videos, trailers, games.
Oh, damn. Figure out how he outdid everyone is because he stole the content from everywhere.
That's basically how he did. I think I don't know if I censored it just now, but yeah, he just said like, damn, this N-word on the grind, bro. It came out of nowhere. It was like, holy shit. Like, he used to just... Because I always remembered it as, like, N-word, F-slur, or whatever. But, like, I don't know, that caught me off guard when I was watching this again.
YouTube.
You gotta suck dick and shit, YouTube. She's so motivational. Holy shit. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna sit on my bed. I'm gonna sit on the end of my bed.
Yeah, there wasn't really a joke associated with it.
Fucking videos. Fuck editing. Fuck that shit. What am I? Dude,
Jesus! I gotta remember that one. Remember that one, Nick. You have to cut that out of the VOD. I didn't cut it out last time and I got dinged. Holy fuck. Alright, dude, it's a minefield to go through these old Ian videos.
None of it mattered. No target was too low. No joke was too offensive. And he didn't just do it, but he was also good at justifying it.
What does he mean by no target is too low? I mean, yeah, there was one target that was too low. They all cried about Leafy bullying children, right? Oh no, Leafy bullied the autistic kid. Oh no, Leafy bullied children. I feel like that was like the one moral line the commentary community tried to fight for.
Low. No joke was too offensive. And he didn't just do it, but he was also good at justifying it.
Straight off the bat, I want to let all
send off to Pry. I didn't know that was coming. I didn't get that far.
Newcomers to my channel know that I'm perfectly fine with bullying. Make fun of someone because they're fat, autistic, or riddled with acne. I don't
Oh, that's based. Okay.
care. Make fun of them. I think my only stipulation with
So then he didn't have an issue with the kids. He was one of the only YouTubers just like, yeah, go for it. Bully those kids.
the bullying is that you also have to not be a pussy. But you can't say that one because it's got sort of a... It's guttural. Either
Is that the zipper one?
all of them are
Bro, how many people learned about the zipper slur from fucking iDubbbz's?
okay or none of them are okay. It's either all okay or none of it's okay.
Another thing I'm just realizing,
Or none of them are okay.
for the first time,
It's either
his left eye is still lower than his right eye, even now. I thought that was like a LASIK thing, but he got LASIK done, and even here, I never noticed it because he was wearing glasses where one of the eyes droops lower than the other one.
they're all okay or none of it's okay.
All of this
I absolutely am sorry if you've never noticed that before, and you'll never unsee it either, because I've noticed that every time.
really set iDubbbz at a different class from people who were just simply edgy for the
Nick, LASIK doesn't move your eyeball. Somebody said he got a botched eye surgery, and that's why he looks like that. But I always kind of thought that, like, his fucking left eye, or it's his right eye coming, like, his perspective was always just a little bit higher than the left one, and it's always annoyed me.
sake of it, or because they were looking to grift off of a more edgy, or in some cases, more conservative audience. Up until 2020, iDubbbz was one of the few people
God, that's such a dumb point. What are you talking about? It's the most iconic point. There are YouTubers here who are going to talk about content and copying things and the quality of his new video, and I'm out here doing the eye diagnosis. It's the most important thing.
who stuck true to his original audience without diluting it or trying to have his fan base admire him parasocially. He made very funny, even if offensive, YouTube videos without dumbing down his content or engaging in unnecessary...
Dude, wait, look, it's iDubbbz cosplaying new iDubbbz. He literally didn't even know what he was doing at this clip, but now it's current iDubbbz. Isn't that like the thumbnail for his fucking video where he's talking about sex work? iDubbbz complains. I think he literally looks like that in his fucking thumbnail. Yeah, dude, he cosplayed new iDubbbz. Open image in new tab. Dude, look, he photoshopped his head red with like shit coming out of it, dude. He was cosplaying
even
himself
if
in the
offensive
future.
YouTube videos without dumbing down his content or engaging in unnecessary drama, something most people would see as integrity. But as the decade approached its end, there were some signs that the times were changing. Ian's uploads not only slowed down, but they became much more vague in theme. His tried and true formats like Bad Unboxing and Content Cop increasingly gave way to casual iDubbbz complains videos or things like the fast food tier list. Granted,
Dude, this is my fucking personal 9/11. I think that there are so many things that people hate iDubbbz for, and I constantly reference like his Chex Mix tier list, his fast food tier list, his fucking Cheez-It reviews. Like, those are infinitely more annoying to me as a casual watcher of content, because they are just so mundane. It's actually like embarrassing that he would post something like that to his own YouTube channel.
even in this slightly reduced form, he still managed to post videos like his documentary on Airsoft Fatty, Full Force, which now sits at nearly 25 million views. But if you were an avid viewer and you paid attention to the tone of the jokes, there was a vibe shift underway. Although no one could predict how devastating its ultimate consequences
Dude, it's devastating. Dude, the video devastated Ethan.
would be.
Ian, sorry.
You see, all the way back in 2016,
I'm sorry, it's just so funny to me.
at what was safely iDubbbz's
It's like the fucking California wildfires. It's being described the same way as like a famine.
peak in online hype, he began dating fellow content creator Anisa by merit of
Dude, the fucking content cop, the retaliation of the content cop was devastating. 25, it had a 25% mortality rate.
in online hype. He began dating fellow content creator Anisa
Ah! Dude, I was trying to do the new norms, like I want my normal beer thing.
By merit of clicking on this video, you probably know who Anisa is from her current online infamy. But long before that, she was a small League of Legends streamer under the alias Rainbow Kids.
I don't mean to be a dick. Even if she's angry, she just looks so much happier here.
Although that description hardly tells the whole story. In March 2016, Anisa's first big claim to fame came in the way of a
Wait, what?
video titled A Day in the Life of a Booby Streamer, which racked up hundreds of thousands of views in a matter of months. Although it's no longer available, the title is pretty self-explanatory.
No,
And it was
I was just saying, I feel like she looked a lot happier before she got covered with Crayola crayon drawings, you know? Like she, not to say any girl with a pixie cut doesn't look like she's having a good time. It's more so like the Crayola marker tattoos.
It was released at a point in time where booby streamers...
Like, I love me some decent tattoos. Not like that, bro. Like
well, the title is pretty self-explanatory.
I actually have a tattoo. I have the tattoo of a letter E on my foot that I got at a scavenger hunt. It's just the letter E. It's not necessarily the best letter E. It's not like an artistic... It's just the letter E.
It was released at a point in time where booby streamers were taking their first steps toward the full-fledged domination.
What I didn't know is when I got that tattoo... Insane pause, by the way. When I got that tattoo a couple of years ago, probably...
Nicholas, the GOAT.
Close to 7 years ago, what I didn't know is I'd be pledging undying support to Ethan Klein, so...
Point in time where booby streamers were taking their first steps toward the full-fledged domination of certain streaming platforms through trends like hot tub streams. Just by looking at the videos recommended on the side, you can figure out that this was Anisa's hustle at the time, with channels like Sexy Gamer Girls or...
I don't think he's going to talk about it, but you need to remember that before streaming was a big thing, and like maybe not a big thing, but before streaming and Twitch and all this stuff, there used to be a meta where gigantic breasted reaction girls would repost videos. This was like during the Colossal is Crazy upload times. There used to be a feature on YouTube where you could respond to a video directly and it would like link it on the same page. So what people would do is they would post their YouTube commentary responses as like something video and then you'd be able to jump to it. But then those people started getting beaten out because gigantic breasted cleavage demons started covering them up. Or whatever, well, not covering up, actually doing quite the opposite, and posting like Colossal is Crazy, and it was just them sitting there, usually a really loud fan in the background, where they're like, I think that this one was actually kind of funny. Yeah, I don't really know who the Leafster is, but I've been watching for a little while, and the whole thing was just like gigantic breasts, fucking smallest bathing suit you could possibly find, absolutely zero commentary, and I'll tell you right now, it was more fair use than the average Denim's react. I'm kidding.
Cute Twitch girls uploading clips of her streams where she did risque things, as well as commentary channels of the time criticizing the
Was that really that recently? No, this was a long time ago. This was like 2014.
Kind of content she made. But despite her already being somewhat infamous for sexualizing herself at the time, her day in the life video was attached to an announcement that she'd be moving away from that kind of content, which she later clarified through a series of Reddit posts.
You know, she's a lot like Lav in that regard. Lav was like a sex worker who became anti-sex work, who then opened an OnlyFans again, right? Isn't that something Lav did? Is that her whole thing? Now, obviously, sex work and titty streaming are two different things, right? But Anisa started out as like a, you know, regular booby streamer. And then didn't she get like really anti... Why? Like that? I'm pretty sure she was anti that for a given amount of time, and then she opened an OnlyFans.
Public Pivot got so much traction that it earned itself an article on Kotaku, where Anisa actually contributed and gave...
She never did move away from it. No, I think there was like a time when she was critical of that content herself.
A quote, I would play ranked games on stream, and I would lose every single one because I was just so focused on the fact that my straps on my push-up bra were digging into my shoulders, and I would look over at chat, and like every second comment is calling me a slut and a whore. It's just not fun for me anymore.
Dude, I'm glad I'm watching this. I didn't know she said any of this stuff. This kind of makes things fun.
I'm not saying that it's wrong to do this. If you are a female and you feel sexy doing this, all the power to you.
And look, you're allowed to change your mind. You don't have to be. The problem with YouTube is that I mean, I know this firsthand. You're locked into everything you've ever said. Oh, Turkey Tom, you made this comment when you were fucking 16 years old when you typed N-words eating chicken into somebody's Discord DMs? Well, guess what, motherfucker? Every time you get into a controversy when you're 24, that's going to come up, all right? Remember that. As a YouTuber, you don't really get to have a new take on something.
Latest video.
I just wanted to explain to everybody why I personally am sick and tired of doing this, not comfortable doing this, nor do I feel like it's right for me to do this. Despite this article focusing on how merciless and toxic the community could be, Anisa's decision was met with plenty of support, with people saying they preferred her non-sexual content. Other people, like Brittany Venti, immediately cast doubt on the sincerity of Anisa's pivot, claiming
I can't believe Brittany Ventney was still actively going after her all the way back then. She's just kind of been like a force of nature on YouTube. She fought with the Gora Gora people. She's in some of those like Destiny debates. She was around in IBS. She's been everywhere.
Claiming her content hadn't changed
Then there was that clip of like her boyfriend, of her like yelling at her. Was her boyfriend like crying or something?
as much as she suggested it would.
Oh, and the dude Slasher. Remember when Slasher wanted to hate fuck her? That was another thing. The Slasher reached out to Jess and was like, "Oh, I got a lot of connections on these esports teams. If you want to get me in touch with yeah, I don't know."
On the sincerity of Anisa's pivot, claiming her content hadn't changed as much as she suggested it would. However, the clips that were shown as proof of the content not changing weren't really hard-hitting evidence, as they consisted of Anisa showing off a t-shirt and walking around in her room, a far cry from her extremely sexualized streams from before.
Dude, I don't think this shit matters. People say like, "Oh, look at that. There's a woman on screen," or whatever. I don't know if Tom's even making that argument, but recently I've seen such a absurd example of exactly what people were saying about Anisa back then, and it was so ridiculous that people were trying to defend it. There was a former OnlyFans, even potentially pornography star, who started doing cooking videos on TikTok, and it was like the most sexual video that you could ever make while wearing clothes. She was like fucking deep throating the spoons and shit. She was fucking licking what is it? The fucking whipped cream off of the side of a fucking bowl or something. It was so out and about obvious that it was just regular sexual content that was acceptable. They're like, she's a Christian now. She's not doing it anymore. She's turned over a new leaf. And it was like obviously like the most sensual cooking video you could possibly make.
About a month later, Anisa uploaded a video where she criticized
It was like viral on Twitter. People were like, actually, you don't understand.
feminism.
I don't feel like I need to be a part of a...
Are you sexualizing that? That's a you problem, sir. It's like, who cares? I don't know.
Later, Anisa uploaded a video where she criticized feminism.
I don't feel like I need to be a part of a movement in where I can dye my hair blue and become 500 pounds overweight and claim that I'm still beautiful. Like, I don't get it. And I'm not saying that I disagree with what feminism actually is. I'm not saying that I disagree with what, the OG...
This is around the time of the vintage Jewish clip, right? Like, this is around the time of the fucking Holocaust clip.
Movement of what feminism is. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that you can't even, like, claim to support feminism anymore without it leaving a bad taste in people's mouths because of third wave feminism.
This kind of video was pretty common around that time, with huge content creators like Shoe-on-Head making similar content, both in format and theme, regardless of
it emulates a lot of like the skeptics of the time.
How on the rise criticizing
and again, this is simultaneously while Ethan is posting his humongous videos and like making fun of SJW content creators. That's like the era that we were in. But Anisa views herself as like God's gift to people because she's gone to therapy and has realized that everyone else is like worse than she is, and that like it feels in some cases like her and Ian are the only ones allowed to have redemption because they've tanked their entire fucking internet personas and taken years of harassment that they didn't need to take, and now anybody who does less than them is like not trying hard enough. Anybody who doesn't like it. Actually, the perfect quote for that argument is when Ian started making fun of I forgot what YouTuber it was, because he made an OnlyFans to like joke about his girlfriend making an OnlyFans, right? It was like, oh, he couldn't even fucking face it head to head with like a man or whatever, and then it was just him, being able to joke at his own expense or whatever and make like a parody OnlyFans to show off his fucking steaks and stuff, right? It just it shows a part of Ian where I feel like he is envious of others who have been able to rehabilitate their image, but not take as much damage as him and Anisa have taken. Like, they see what they've done as like the universal good, and anybody else has done lesser than them, and they don't deserve the good graces they get. Yeah, donut operators, who I'm talking about.
Feminism was at that point. Anisa didn't seem like she was being dishonest or grifting, especially since she continued to make those points even after it clearly didn't net her any popularity. Later on, she slightly disavowed the whole anti-SJW movement, but didn't overall change her opinions, signaling that they weren't just a product of being influenced by other people.
What are your thoughts towards SJWs? I feel like this, the SJW thing has kind of just been beaten to a pulp at this point. I think that anybody that's on any extreme point of anything is wrong.
In July,
I mean, the reality of the situation is that Anisa and Ian are just chasing themselves. They're mad. They're literally mad at themselves. Ian is treating everybody like an incel freak, because that's probably what he was until his girlfriend touched his penis, and then he married her right immediately after. right? She made anti-SJW content. It feels like they're taking out their hatred for themselves in their formative years on everyone who associates with them negatively, and casting that shadow. Like, I was a pathetic, cringy incel. Everyone must be just like me. If only they talk to my therapist, we can get them out of it. It's such a one-track minded view of the world, like a simpleton's perspective on how this stuff works.
A month before her and iDubbbz started dating, she made a video giving dating advice for men, where she provided a mind-bending amount of foreshadowing for the rest of the story.
I have dated a lot of dudes. I will not lie to you. Nice guys do finish last. I wish that I could, meet a nice guy who is right away emotionally available and committed and just be like, holy shit, I want to date you forever.
Is she wearing a no boyfriend, no problem t-shirt? That's a fucking flag and a half, dude. There's a flag on the play, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Emotionally available and committed and just be like, holy shit, I want to date you forever. But there's something about it that is an extreme turnoff for a lot of women. In my opinion,
oh my god,
when a man opens himself up emotionally fully and commits fully, it is essentially like a woman sleeping with a man. It's on the same level of like giving. But if a girl slept with you on the first date, chances are you wouldn't be very interested in having an actual relationship. If you give a woman your full emotional availability, they will take it for granted. And
they'll take it for granted.
Nicholas, the GOAT. Thank you for the $5.
Bro, there's no way.
They will not value it to the same extent that they should. And by not valuing it, they will also not respect you to the same extent that they should. And that opens you up for disinterest and, in worst case scenario, abuse.
Bro! Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nicholas,
you know what this is? This is comparable to the clip where Hassan gave away the playbook. You know the clip where Hassan's like, oh, Ethan, what he's got to do there is deflect back and send it back to the other person or whatever, and never respond under any circumstance, where Hassan just like outlined all the stuff that he planned on doing. This is like her moment. What the fuck?
For disinterest and, in worst case scenario, abuse. Because you will be abused if you're not respected.
It's okay, it's okay. Their therapist... Listen, alright? If iDubbbz and Anisa were in an abusive relationship, their therapist would know about it, okay? So, there's nothing to be... There's no issues here.
It's just the way it is.
They've got like a... They've got an appointed person to make sure they're still doing okay.
Being a nice guy means that you're a selfless human being and you want to put others in front of you. And I know it's extremely hard, but it's something that if you just throw yourself at that person, chances are you're not going to get out of the relationship what you want. A lot of guys, if you find a woman that you think is worth your time and you think is interesting and you think is deserving of the world, you will immediately put them on a pedestal and think that they deserve everything.
This clip just keeps going, uncut, and it just continues to just maul iDubbbz. Like, you can hear him whimpering and crying in the next room.
And it has happened to me before, and as soon as you put that woman on a pedestal, you are asking for trouble, especially in the gift market. Things that
What does she mean by that? The second he pulls out his credit card, she's like, well, I've got to spend it. I have to spend all your money. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Dude, that's so insane. Like, why are people posting stuff like this online? I feel like I've broken into her diary, but it's not. She's put this out here for me to watch.
Are just instant turnoffs for women crying. A good rule of thumb, if she is not crying, you should not be crying. Period. It shows...
Oh no, dude. Oh no, bro. I mean, to be fair, they were both crying at VidCon. This is... Dude, no way.
Are just instant turnoffs for women crying. A good rule of thumb, if she is not crying, you should not be crying.
I feel like he cries once a day. He strikes me as a crier. Listen, guys, emotional guys out there, find yourself a girl who will let you do... Wait, what is this? Bro, they didn't want to watch any more Anisa, so YouTube put a button on the screen to get us through. Dude, they put like a panic button in case you have to listen to her talk for too long. Are you serious?
Period. It shows Overall,
that's for like when there's a sponsorship, it automatically gives you like a skip button. YouTube has done this now for like high skip areas. That means people literally aren't watching her and they want to jump ahead.
Emotional weakness, and later on in life, you wonder how they're going to handle serious, actual, legitimate issues.
That's a real feature. No, because people were like complaining that YouTubers are putting like sponsorships in their video, and sponsorships have it explicitly written that you cannot put a chapter for the sponsorship so people can clearly like click it and go around it. That's like a rule that YouTube set for sponsors, right? So YouTube has put a feature into their video player. You see it especially on mobile, where like in a high skip area, it will give you a panic button to zoom through it. But the only thing that sucks about that is some people skip intros. So like, you know, the cool cinematic intros and stuff, or like the sizzle reel cut in the first 30 seconds. It'll skip that. I don't like that.
I recommend
I like
Nicholas
I don't know. I put some
DeOrio's
effort into
latest
the
video.
not these intros, but my main channel ones. It's not meant to be skipped.
So it's definitely more than once per day.
True.
Maybe per hour?
Crying at really stupid shit is a really good way to make a girl not like you really fast.
It truly fills one's mind with contemplation to see her saying this stuff, knowing how it all ends.
You just know Tom was sitting there with a shit-eating grin when he found that clip. I've never seen that before.
In the same month as this was published, another Kotaku piece went up, this
Oh,
time
thank you for,
reporting on the
hitting the
fact
goal.
that Anisa's mother, Maureen,
you missed it
was
by
one of
one.
the
Fuck
moderators
you.
in
I'm
her
kidding.
Twitch chat. Interestingly enough, here it's mentioned that both of Anisa's parents are quite conservative and religious, and despite being quite protective over her, Maureen was respectful of her wishes to let the chat come at her and only moderate when things got super out of hand. According to her, Anisa wasn't hurt by anything said online, as she didn't take it seriously and understood people were just trolling. And
I'm so stuck on the fact that she said she was filling for the docs all the way up to his second fight when he was puking. What happened to the documentary? Oh, filming for the document. Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, I literally think that like the event went poorly, so they didn't make the for the second fight, right? After Creator Clash 2 scandal, they probably didn't want to make it. For the first one, I don't know. So I wonder, is there anybody here who thinks that iDubbbz has filmed multiple documentaries that he's scrapped? Because we're looking at this in an isolated thing, right? Like they filmed for a documentary related to boxing and it never came out and they said it'd be boring and they didn't want to do it. Well, who else filmed a documentary with iDubbbz? Sam Hyde did. And I don't think he had any intention of releasing that footage either. Do you think that there's like 6 or 7 of these unfinished projects of stuff that he spent tons of money going out to film and he just became like a total pussy and just didn't follow through at uploading them? I mean, I don't know if the timeline is there. There might not have been time for that to have occurred, but I could see iDubbbz being a not a finisher, I guess. Like a high scrap level or whatever. I mean, I scrapped a shitload of videos, but never went out of my way to film for them like that. That would be a guarantee
guy
for me.
Keemstar Orbiter, Nick Oreo, Mr. Oreo.
I was one of the people who skipped through the Anisa section when I first watched this video. I'm super glad to have contributed towards that, Anisa L.
Base, good shit.
January 2017, a few months into her relationship with Ian, Anisa did an AMA wherein she spoke about how their relationship began, explaining they met after TwitchCon 2016 and immediately hit it off and never stopped talking to each other. On the surface, this seemed completely innocuous, but even at this point, some things didn't add up. Although she doesn't at all mention this in her AMA for obvious reasons, not only did she have a boyfriend when she invited Ian to hang out after TwitchCon, her boyfriend went with her to TwitchCon and only broke up with him a week later. Additionally, another aspect of the timeline here that was broken later on
Bro,
is that
Mr. Steal Your Girl, bro. iDubbbz went from literally 0 bodies to taking one from the team, dude. That's crazy.
Went on to claim she was still a booby streamer by the time the two got together, which is verifiably untrue. While it is...
I've never heard that. Is that accurate that she like allegedly cheated on her fucking boyfriend? Or at the very least started seeing Ian after VidCon? Or TwitchCon, rather? What was Ian doing at TwitchCon at all?
A booby streamer by the time the two got together, which is verifiably untrue. While it is small, these establish a pattern of slightly bending the truth whenever it's convenient to do so. Just like her relationship with Acadian, within a year of being with Ian, she was telling random people on her Discord server that they weren't.
I thought it was Arcadum. Remember the guy who's like, I'm a sociopath. That's why I can't play Among Us.
doing well. And not only were they close to breaking up, but they'd already previously experienced a relationship scare. Around the same time, Anisa was both privately and publicly signaling she was becoming closer to YouTuber Chris Raygun, saying he'd be more willing to defend her from online hate than Ian. With these things being discussed online,
Bro, she wanted to skinwalk Lacey Green. That's so fucking funny, dude.
Anisa was becoming increasingly disliked.
Actually, did Lacey even happen at that point yet?
And however gratuitous some of it may be, she really put in an effort to say insanely bad stuff in public for seeming
Nick Oreo.
Thank you,
Mr. Oreo.
Is this Nicholas Eats Oreo?
Yes.
The goat?
The goat.
no reason.
Dude, somebody walked up to me at fucking VidCon. They're like, Nicholas, the goat, thank you for the $5, my man.
Lion Maker, whatever his name was accused of pedophilia. Like, it gave me a lot of anxiety because...
Oh, shit, he's got the clip! This is the one that blew my mind, bro. This is the Lion Maker one. This is the one where she gets, like, confirmed at the end of the clip that Lion Maker was in jail for pedophilia after running her mouth.
Lion Maker, whatever his name was accused of pedophilia. Like, it gave me a lot of anxiety because I feel like a lot of it is based on a lot of fiction and not a lot of fact. And, like, if the person...
You have to, like... I the last time I did this, I waited till the very end to tell you what happens. But she's saying fact, fiction, blah, 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 blah. Bro, he did time.
It's based on a lot of fiction and not a lot of fact. And, like, if the person really isn't as bad as people think it is, which most of the time they're not, then you're just watching people...
This is like if in current day I started going on a rant about how EDP 445 is actually misunderstood and that people don't even realize it or something. Like, I did a whole segment being like, guys, I gotta be honest with you. A lot of this stuff was based on fucking, like, literally just repeating her words.
Will rip apart somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it as much as, like, I don't know. It's just sad seeing somebody get ripped apart.
That's another one. Why would it give her anxiety?
Simultaneously, her content was floundering. You see, Anisa's videos...
Wait, he didn't show the clip?
...around this time were focused on things like her suffering from body...
Tom! What's wrong with you? I gotta go get it. I gotta get it. No, that... Wait. He plays that, but he doesn't play why it's funny. That's brutal. That is not fucking cool. Hold on. Where is this? I should be able to find it with it's probably like the worst clip of Anisa or something on my feed. How many clips of Anisa have I posted in the last month? There can't be that many, right? Jesus, I gotta stop calling out women. I'm gonna get a reputation over here. I'm kidding. Fuck. Any minute now. Scrolling. There's the pictures that Frogan appeared to have edited of her getting beaten. That's another one. That's another one. Jesus. I have tweeted a lot of it. When the fuck did I post this? MP4. Nope. Fuck. Smaggle, do you know where it is? Because you literally need to see this. This is not like a thing that I can skip. Because that was a cucked clip that did not have the appropriate level of funny. I know it's a search. Let me see. Worst. Right? Worst. It has to be. Yeah, here it is. Got it.
Lion Maker, whatever his name was accused
I
of
just saw
pedophilia.
Keffel's
Like, it gave
tweet.
me a lot of anxiety because
Nicholas DeOrio.
yeah, Leafy was one of them that was hard to watch getting ripped apart.
So Leafy was hard to watch getting ripped apart, which is extremely funny because her husband would go on to do that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, Googles, but I mean, I believe you, but I don't know it. Like, again, it's like that's.
Like, the chat is trying to tell her, Anisa, stand down. Lion Maker is an incarcerated pedophile. Please stop making these arguments.
YouTube videos are okay, let me put it this way.
He did an interview explaining to Clown exactly what happened.
YouTube videos are never sincere.
Well, Lion Maker went to jail for pedophilia. I urge everyone to check out Colossal is Crazy's interview with Lion Maker.
Dude, she started. I got a lot of anxiety when they targeted Lion Maker. The dono comes in. Well, Lion Maker went to jail for pedophilia.
dysmorphia,
dude, I don't know how you don't include that part,
and anorexia, her negative experience with sending nudes, her fitness journey, how Instagram models are deceptive, all of which—
Dude, the interview, yeah, he shouts out the interview, but it doesn't even matter. It's not even an interview. He went to jail. A guy from a rich family in like a third world country did jail time for pedophilia. That's like bro, do they even go to jail over there? Do they accept 200 for pass and go like a Monopoly game? Did he roll fucking doubles or something?
Which kind of echoed the same theme, handling her
it's in fucking Belgium, dude. A rich guy from Belgium went to jail.
With her—
that's probably the first time in history it's ever happened.
Appearance, and how the need for validation from strangers can lead to compulsive, self-destructive behavior. Then, in March 2020, she made an OnlyFans. I can't really say enough to highlight the irony of this, so I hope it's—
I don't even know where Belgium is, to be clear. If you gave me a map, I'd say it's in South America.
Self-evident. Overnight, the undercurrent of people who were aware of Anisa's existence and disliked her suddenly became mainstream, as multitudes of people began to ridicule both Anisa for joining OnlyFans and iDubbbz's for continuing to be with her, as she explicitly sexualized herself.
I misread that. Toastify said, I've been to Belgium before. For some reason, I thought that said I've been to Rice Scum before. I was scrolling really fast, dude, and like, what do you fucking mean, dude? You met him in Rodeo? Like, what happened?
Suddenly became mainstream, as multitudes of people began to ridicule both
What's
Anisa—
the name of the guy, Keemstar Orbiter? Nick Oreo.
Dude, F in the chat,
Mr.
iDubbbz
Oreo.
by it's Hosey. Is it Hosey still making videos these days? What happened to
for
him?
joining OnlyFans and iDubbbz's for continuing to be with her, as she explicitly sexualized herself for strangers for money. To be fair, this feeding frenzy for trolls only really reached a fever pitch after iDubbbz made a video about the situation, wherein he—
Dude, there's the fucking video. Look, he's red now. It's like when he was covered in Cheeto dust.
He claimed his audience simply didn't know him well enough if they ever assumed he'd have a problem with not safe for work material. The thing is, he kind of sidesteps the point, which isn't adult material itself, but the fact that his girlfriend was making it. For the majority of people,
the
even—
goat. Thank you for the $5, my man.
Dude, there are endless ways to say this without going, hello, my girlfriend makes porn online, and I think it's swell if you beat off to pictures of her on the internet. Like, I'm sorry, even for like the most, I feel like even people who are super pro sex work would say like, hey, you probably don't have to make that video. You know, maybe there are people out there who want their partners to make that video and they're clapping, but like, you don't really have to go and open that can of worms, right? Like, I don't know.
And just consuming that kind of thing while in a relationship is bad. So one would imagine that when Anisa proposed posting explicit images online for any stranger to engage with, that idea wouldn't even be considered tolerable, let alone actively supported.
And I think all of it is cool. Yeah.
Even just like the way that dude, I'm sorry, like again, point be damned, the way that he even says that does not look sincere.
And I think all of it is cool.
I just saw Keffel's tweet.
Like gun to his head to shit. It doesn't look, this does not look natural, like somebody wanted to film this. Thank you so much for the gifted goated. You're goated. You're goated. Thank you.
Supported.
And I think all of it is cool. Yeah. I know.
He looks like he cried between takes.
I didn't think...
It's just not natural. There's something off about this video, aside from the overarching point.
It would be a controversial opinion either. A good amount of people are just doing the reasonable thing and just making jokes and laughing about it. But there's a whole nother group of people who feel personally devastated and betrayed.
Yeah, just don't talk about those people. Ignore them. Just, oh wow, there are people who don't agree with you on the internet. I gotta tell you right now, as somebody who has a Twitter account, the best possible thing you can do is just ignore them, okay? It's a huge time sink to worry about this shit.
You lied to us.
To play a bit of
And by the way, to say that to an average fucking new YouTuber or something, maybe that's a bit, you know, annoying, right? You're a fucking, like, Twitch chatter who doesn't have to deal with this on a daily basis, but I'm telling this to iDubbbz. This guy's been a fucking pro since I was in high school, okay? I feel like you kind of have to just ignore it. It's not good advice for an up-and-coming YouTuber or someone who's never dealt with this before. This is somebody who has dealt with it before. You kind of have to be good at it by now.
Advocate here, the debate gets heavily sidetracked by people saying he was a hypocrite, which doesn't really apply.
Like, at some point, you need to acquire those skills. Or, literally, it's praise Skibbity or perish, but Skibbity is to like the ability to not interact with every person online, right? At any given moment. You literally have to learn that skill or eventually you'll blow up. It's just like when it happens earlier on, it's more understandable.
Since Ian hadn't ever expressed being against it on a moral level. But while accusations of him being a hypocrite or a simp miss the mark, obviously the average person is going to have a problem with sending nudes to other people while in a relationship and find it objectionable.
Like there's another world where he delivered a similar video with satire and he did it more confidently. And he looked like he didn't really give a shit instead of like he was weeping off camera the entire time, where people accepted that answer and moved on and continued watching his content. There is definitely a way to address that type of issue without using all the words that he chose and still maintaining like, and not even maintaining your audience. Maybe you don't even want that audience. Maybe you want to move away anyway. That's perfectly fine. But not creating the complete hate shitstorm and solidifying yourself as a loser online, in a space where you desperately, in the middle of the field of a popularity contest. Like, I don't care if people think I'm a loser online. Well, your entire fucking life is a popularity contest. You're in adult high school. You can't really be a loser. You kind of got to figure it out, you know?
Whether it's to one person or to your parasocial gooner army. He makes a point here about how someone cranking it to your girlfriend doesn't affect you and wouldn't constitute cheating. But that's not exactly comparable to your significant other actively inviting people to do it. Lastly, Ian remarks that this decision wasn't Anisa stooping to that level for money, but again, her own Discord messages show that she strongly resented not getting enough attention and not making enough money online. Even during the period she was already with him and didn't technically need to make a living. Anisa herself admits that the financial reward of doing OnlyFans was extremely important for her and went toward helping her family, so that absolutely was a factor. The thing is, 3 years prior, Ian had offered to pay for her to go to college, meaning she could have done something else to make money, but instead opted to do OnlyFans. Why? Well, it's all but made explicit that—
Well, I'll tell you why, all right? I don't know what he's going to say right here, but to go to school, right? To go to school would imply that you'd have to have a job. That is the actual reason. That's 100% the reason. It has nothing to do with her wanting more. Well, it could have something to do with her wanting more attention and blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, it's because she wanted to be a NEET and not work for a living. That's probably the case.
To make money, but instead opted to do OnlyFans. Why? Well, it's all but made explicit that Ian's attention wasn't enough for her, as she admittedly wanted attention from strangers online.
Yeah, I don't think she wanted to fuck every single guy on planet Earth. I just think she didn't want to work for a living, like most of these YouTubers. Yeah, I think that the majority of YouTubers would do anything / everything to not actually have to work, and continue making their fucking $20 for passing go. An hour behind, but when that guy was talking about his anxiety pen, he sounded zesty. Zesty XQC, true.
What's the name of the guy? Keemstar Orbiter? Nick Oreo. Mr. Oreo.
Because normal life doesn't let her
An
be the
hour
main
behind,
character.
but when that guy was talking about his anxiety pen, he sounded like Zesty XQC.
Well, the thing is, right, with Anisa Jomha, she's kind of an egomaniac, right? Could you imagine working in a cubicle next to Anisa Jomha, like the next cubicle over? Imagine the interactions with her and a manager. This is a person who cannot be governed, okay? She's unhireable. Dude, this person will be horrible to work with in any normal setting.
Terminal gooners.
If anything, maybe she should work, and that might calm her down. I think that some of you guys become fucking rowdy, dude. You get rampant. What is it called when Cortana started fucking fizzing out in Halo 3? Rampant, like her AI has gone rampant. I think that you guys haven't been governed long enough. I think that maybe you guys need to work for somebody and have like tasks that you need to do and get humbled a little bit for a little while, like a desk job of some kind, because you guys are like out of your fucking mind.
Oddly, in her video about it, Anisa's stance on the wave of hate they got once this situation erupted was that she didn't care about other people's view of her. The thing is, you can't really have it both ways, and clearly, validation from online strangers does matter to her. Otherwise, what's the point of posting her pictures online? You could say money, but again, Ian himself offered her alternatives.
Is that Mango? Bro, someone stole Mango's haircut. What the fuck?
It was years before, and she turned it down. What's rarely highlighted when this topic is covered is that Anisa's OnlyFans is direct—
What's not so rarely highlighted is the fucking Crayola pencils they colored her with. What the fuck, dude?
And she turned it down. What's rarely highlighted—
You ever watch the, who is it? The The guy who dated Ariana, Pete Davidson, was like, bro, I didn't fucking cover myself in tanning oil and get on the cover of Vogue magazine. Dude, if they put her in a magazine, the comment would be like, cover herself in fucking magic marker and get on the cover.
When this topic is covered is that Anisa,
it looks like her house got broken into by an elementary school of fucking of marker having children.
OnlyFans is directly related to her often
Billy Mitchell, we still dunking on iDubbbz's? Fuck yeah, we are, dude.
and discussed issues with her body image. However much Ian and her try to pretend that posting not safe for work content is empowering or is somehow healing her. Regardless of how you feel about it morally, I strongly doubt that showing whole online is the cure for a mental illness. If it is, I'm looking forward to the OnlyFans and BetterHelp partnership.
See, well, she found OnlyFans, then she found therapy, and I shit you not, spoilers for the 2027 arc, she's gonna find Jesus.
In the future.
That's gonna be the most insufferable arc, okay? Because Augie's gonna start taking her side and shit, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. That's when I'll go off, dude.
While OCD and BDD aren't
Yeah, she'll become a trad wife in 2 more years. Just wait for it.
necessarily tied to sexualizing yourself, there is a condition called histrionic disorder, which is. Other symptoms include compulsive oversharing about one's private life.
No, dude, not the poo clip.
Even to the point of embarrassing friends or family,
No!
dressing in a provocative manner.
Is he like diagnosing her?
The goat.
This is like a fucking old T-channel video. Tom's about to diagnose her.
Manner for attention, being strongly opinionated about things they don't know much about, being easily influenced by peers and emulating them, and the list goes on.
Is Augie an organic American? Bro, Augie is obsessed with your hot sauce. He's been putting that on everything.
Given that this condition typically manifests in girls in their early 20s, right around the time Anisa
Thank you
became
for
a
the
booby
goal.
streamer, there may be some reason for concern.
Wait, so hold on.
I recommend
What the
watching
fuck is
Nicholas
this?
DeOrio's latest
So
video.
Tom is saying that this fucking random ass personality disorder appears in your late teens and early 20s, and would explain everything, dude. It explains everything that's happened to her, dude. Histrionic personality disorder.
But regardless of Anisa's issues, even after...
Well, I got some tarot cards if you want to read them, dude.
The goat. Thank you for the $5.
I actually
my
just
man.
got the clapping panda, okay? And that tells me that Anisa Jomha will be out for revenge.
After this pivot, Ian was developing his own problems. In 2021, Ian's new documentary was recorded, wherein he spent a few days with comedian Sam Hyde. But the actual contents of it weren't seen until early 2022, when Sam, allegedly due to not getting any communication from iDubbbz's for months and growing frustrated due to having spent 15 grand on it, became suspicious that Ian wouldn't release it at all, and released the footage he had gotten. Over nearly 2 hours of video, it's revealed that most of, if not all of that 15 grand...
Could you imagine if iDubbbz came back full confidence and went, and like the video was just titled all caps, Sam lied, dude. As like a play on Sam Hyde, and he just came in and started dropping bars, dude, literal hip hop song off the intro, and he actually played ball when he made it. Instead of being like, all right, so I went to go see Sam Hyde, and, well, it is unfortunate that he was filming and posted part of this early.
Over nearly 2 hours of video, it's revealed that most of, if not all of that 15 grand Sam mentioned had been spent hiring actors and renting things in order to create the appearance of a bizarre lifestyle. For example, a paid actress played the part of Sam's cracked out girlfriend, with him verbally abusing her and drinking her breast milk. To go over each and...
Even then, though, I don't think iDubbbz can salvage this. Dude, Sam just did too much, bro. Speaking of that, I gotta do more retrospective segments on this fucking channel. The Sam Hyde one popped off.
Every one of the hundreds of little gaslight...
Biggest gay op ever. Literally, dude. Literally the biggest one.
Pranks Sam and his crew ran on Ian would take a long time. So hopefully that one example is enough to represent them. However, the actual moment where Sam reveals to Ian that most of what he experienced in the first couple of days there...
I'm gonna make you look like an asshole.
...was just an elaborate prank isn't actually in Sam's footage. And it would only appear a month later when Ian uploaded his version of the documentary.
I'm curious about your relationship with Danny. Has she been on drugs since she met you?
She's been on drugs since before she met me. So if you're implying that I've driven her to drug use, you are incorrect.
Okay.
I'm never gonna forget, like, the original video of this on Sam's channel is not this dark. Like, they made it in post make him look like a fucking demon. They intentionally darkened Sam. And they also made iDubbbz look taller because he was towering over Ian.
If you're implying that I've...
What a weird choice of editing.
...driven her to drug use, You are incorrect.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, that's what I wanted to sort of get out of the way.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad we got that out of the way.
Like, you can see Sam is literally looking down to Ian, and then it cuts to, like, him at the same height.
Have you tried to get her any help?
No, seeing as she's a girl I paid $500 to shave her head and pretend to be my girlfriend, no, I haven't tried to get her any help. Should you want me to try?
Wait, okay.
I don't know her that well. It's probably not my business to get her off drugs. Also, I think I told her to put her hand...
Do you think he cried when he left? Do you think he stopped smiling and then literally started whimpering in his hotel room, wondering where it all went wrong? Do you think he was just sitting there with the shower on as it hit his back?
In your pocket and pretend to be on drugs.
Immediately after, just started fucking bawling, dude.
Shut up.
You think
Hassan! I'll make that video on abortion!
Are you serious? You think I would date a girl that has her hair shaved like that?
Yes.
You think I'm a mental case?
Yes.
You think I would spill rock stars and Legos all over my office like a animal and have 20 people in a dentist's office? You know this is a converted dentist's office, right? That's why there's...
Dude, oh my god. And again, this wasn't even in Sam's video. We got to watch this. Thank God Ian posted, because we never would have saw the crescendo.
Like whales on the walls and Ian! You silly guy!
So you're punking me?
I'm not punking you. I'm trying to make a... I thought it'd be funny for your fans. I thought they'd like it. Also, the slingshots are rental.
Dude, that's not even Tom editing it. He cuts to him saying, also the slingshot's a rental, and then iDubbbz with his jaw on the floor. That's a real cut from Ian's video. That's not Tom.
I thought it'd be funny for your fans. I thought they'd like it. Also, the slingshots are rental.
As if that's the only thing that, like, that was the shocker. He's smiling through the whole thing, and then he heard the slingshots a rental, and he's fucking like, what? What?
We did get duped by...
This is Sam's video, isn't it? No, this is actually the iDubbbz's version of it, because this clip was not in that video, and it was not shot like this.
By Sam. We didn't get pranked in quite the way we thought we were going to get pranked. It's not easy to say that I'm, like, happy with the conclusion, because... I'm still wondering kind of what's real and what's fake.
Given Ian had the documentary ready to go within a month of Sam's video, it's unlikely that he had decided against making it all together for the past year and slapped it together as a reaction to Sam uploading the footage he had. However, that doesn't change the fact that neither party was fully transparent with their intentions and plans for the documentary. Obviously, to some extent, it must have been Sam's intention to disturb and make Ian look like a fish out of water.
No, yeah, dude. He was going there to show that Sam Hyde, like, this is the lows of being a far-right grifter. Yeah, you see some of these guys, like the quartering, making tons of money as he begs for money online. Probably not a good example. But it's like they always talk about these far-right grifters having luxurious lifestyles and fucking amazing careers or whatever. But look at Sam Hyde. He's a shadow of his former self. He lost his TV show because of the things that he said. This could be you if you fall down the alt-right pipeline. I guarantee that was the goal of the video.
With no chance to see through the facade. But at the same time, Ian's approach to the documentary was clearly meant to be uncharitable. He wasn't making some unbiased gonzo journalism attempt to capture the strange life of a controversial alternative comedian. He was, in his own way, trying to make Sam look bad. This becomes perfectly clear in perhaps the most dreaded section of this entire documentary.
I'm gonna make you look like an asshole.
Irony.
This is why it's so difficult to be around Sam. Try to understand him and ultimately make a documentary.
Maybe he didn't understand lighting, because this is still bad and he willingly chose to do this. Like, why does this look like it? Even in his newer videos, right? Like the Content Cop video that he just did, even I think the Deputy one is worse. It just looks awful. It looks like it's been made by a guy who's never edited something before. There's no color. He isn't color graded at all. This is the part that bothers me most.
What's the name of the guy? Keemstar Orbiter? Nick Oreo. Mr.
Where is
Oreo.
This? Pickle Goose. Ugh, gross. Content Deputy. Just look at this. It looks bad. Like, I need to up the saturation on the stream. Because it's just, he just doesn't look right. I don't know.
About him. He lives here. Sam is drenched in meta irony constantly.
Yeah, every iDubbbz's video looks like found footage from like a, you know what it looks like? It looks like somebody created these videos with like whatever was left on iDubbbz's camera after he took hold on. Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
Intentionally doesn't make it obvious when he is or isn't joking about something. Why he does this is up for interpretation, I guess, but after seeing how much he appears to involve himself in political ideologies, it seems he prefers to use meta-irony as a shield.
Like, his new videos feel like,
Nicholas, the goat. Thank you for the $5, my man.
It's like he's about to drop a new video with Juice WRLD or something. Who's one of those guys that keep whoring out? Like, we need like an 11th Mac Miller album or something, like years later. We found 3 more verses, guys. They were in his garage.
Here, Ian spent...
I don't think they did that with Mac Miller, but there's some of those guys where it's like, how could he have recorded this much material?
Spends around 5 minutes doing an ironically roundabout explanation of how Sam and people like him only pretend to be ironic when they say extremely right-wing things to avoid suffering any consequences. But if you're at all familiar with Sam's non-sketch content, whether it be his earlier Hyde Wars episodes, or if you...
They did that with... Oh, dude, we need to derail for a second. They did that with Tupac. Bro, so what happened was Tupac's mom gave Eminem the rights to make an album, and then Eminem edited his fucking audio in such a way where he went, G-Unit, or whatever. It had like 50 Cent on the track, and people got so fucking mad that they made dead Tupac shout out G-Unit. Holy fuck, that got people mad. But it also created like Shady Records Tupac albums. I don't know if anyone's seen these. There's like songs with Tupac and Obi Trice, and they're weird, all right? There's like one good song that came from that entire collaborative effort, and it was awful for the rest of it.
To be ironic when they say extremely right-wing things.
I think One Day at a Time, that's the one song I recommend. One Day at a Time, Eminem and Tupac was actually pretty good. That's the only good album. Like, and Tipster says the album was bad. Did you know they made 2 of them? They made 2 of them, dude.
To avoid suffering any consequences. But if you're at all familiar with Sam's non-sketch content, whether it be his earlier Hyde Wars episodes, or if you happen to be active on the now-defunct $1 Million Extreme subreddit, where Sam frequently posted through his Reddit account, Sam has no issue copping to being genuinely right-wing, and especially no issue with being framed as such. As a matter of fact, he seems to find it funny. For example, when a BuzzFeed journalist reached out to Sam to ask about his social media bans, he simply responded with a racial slur. And I swear there was a screen...
Dude, I'm sorry. Oh, fuck, bro. Sam Hyde is actually really fucking funny.
Shot of this, but I couldn't find it.
That was... Okay, I didn't say a racial slur, but that was me when the guy got in my face at VidCon. They asked Nick DeOrio about commenting on this, and he responded with a slur.
The point being, while Sam has no issue talking about politics, when he can sense that someone is trying to trap him into saying something, he deliberately flouts it to annoy them, which is exactly what he did during Ian's documentary.
I literally think Ian was going to be like, okay, now that I got you here, why did you donate to the Daily Stormer? That was literally what was the next. He got like thrown off because he's like, what's the next question? Ask me the hard question. Ask me the hard question. And then Ian's like, and he kind of floundered for a little bit. I guarantee he was going to start asking more questions, but I think he felt intimidated.
But going back to Ian's negligent approach to all of this, if he had simply taken the time to do his due diligence, this would become obvious to the point where asking Sam, or even trying to structure the documentary around it, is a complete waste of time, especially if his objective was to make an entertaining video. Lastly, if Ian truly believed Sam was a far-right extremist who veiled his beliefs through a thin veneer of irony, then why would he make a documentary effectively platforming Sam and giving him a wide berth to get...
Yeah, the intention was to showcase the fall of far-right figures.
Hundreds of thousands of new eyes on his content. Even if you look at this from Ian's perspective, it's
like, imagine if he made this video with like Ethan Ralph and started documenting Ralph on stream and shit like that. He probably could have made a compelling documentary. But like, he picked a comedian that's funnier than him.
Still makes no sense how all of this was carried out, which only adds to how terminally negligent he continued to be.
Yeah, he's like, Ethan can't come to America to see his kid or something like that. Like that, he could definitely have made the thing that he wanted, with different content creators.
Even after beginning his pivot to his new identity. In all likelihood, Ian probably thought that this documentary would be an easy dunk on a guy who was widely known for having his show canceled for being overtly far-right and being...
Mediker's Ethan Ralph content makes any other future content unnecessary.
Nick Oreo,
I think maybe in the
Mr.
niche that you're
Oreo.
in, but dude, I'm sorry. I think there are more people, maybe not more people who've seen the June the King video, but like, there's never an issue with somebody making a new video on an old topic and introducing it to people who may not have. There are plenty of people who have never watched a Mediker stream, even though he's like a huge content creator, and he has tons of people watching live. That is kind of like one niche over for the general audience. So introducing more people to that coverage is always a good thing. Because I don't think you can't make an Ethan Ralph video without talking about Jim.
Or every mass shooting incident in the previous decade. But the exact opposite was the case.
Where's Mediker stream? Here. Yeah.
Sam was already experiencing a resurgence in popularity at the time due to one of the original members.
Recommendation, if you have never watched Mr. Mediker, watch his Matt Jarbo video. I think it's called The Ballad of Mundane Matt. It's a good starting point, probably. Yeah, that's that one, or actually no. We might watch this one day. I would love to do a reaction to this. Jim's best video, in my opinion, is the one that he made in case Sargon lost the UKIP primary thing. Well, I think everyone knew Sargon was going to lose, but he had the video ready to drop at midnight when the polls closed, and he put it out immediately. It was like Sargon's Guide to Winning Elections. It is one of the funniest things I ever saw in my life, unironically.
Of MDE, Nick Rochefort, returning to do a podcast-style show with him called Perfect Guy Life, iDubbbz's blunder of a documentary ballooned to well over 6 million views, ironically sending Sam back into the stratosphere.
Unironically, I think we might watch it tonight.
With this documentary backfiring to an unbelievable extent, within a few months, Sam reappeared on Ian's radar. This time as the boxing trainer of Harley Morenstein of Epic Mealtime. In 2022, another one of Ian's creative ventures was Creator Clash, extrapolating from the extremely popular wave of influencer boxing events and turning into a full card of YouTube.
Ian's whole career is like marred. Is marred the right word? It's like he gets one thing and it really fucking works, and then he blows it. And then he gets another thing and it really fucking works, and then he blows it, and then he gets another thing and it really works. Dude, it literally, from Content Cop to his documentary series into Creator Clash, that is like a trifecta of like blowing up. Things people can only do, things people can't even do one time. This guy reinvented himself 3 different ways and blew it every time. It's amazing.
YouTubers boxing each other. It's important to mention that outside of the YouTuber gimmick, Creator Clash was held with the objective of raising money for a variety of different charity funds, which will become much more relevant later on. While Sam himself wasn't invited to take part as a fighter, Ian didn't take issue with Harley making content out of Sam's involvement with his training. And for the time being, this signaled that there was no ill will between Sam and Ian. However, when the date of the event approached, it turned out that Sam had been blacklisted from the event, meaning he wasn't allowed to go, despite supposedly paying over $11,000 for 5 front row seats. In a Twitter space, Keemstar asked Ian and Anisa, who was in charge of running the—
Dude, they actually let iDubbbz on one of these Wait, I don't see Ian. It's just Anisa. Oh no.
Event for some
Anisa confronts Sam Hyde. When the fuck was this one? I missed the one good space.
Reason about the situation involving Sam.
We worked with Sam Hyde for a period, and
dude, oh my god, dude, hearing Ian's voice come out of Anisa on the screen is brutal. That is unironically, like, that is a fucking, that is a, dude.
Some reason about the situation involving Sam.
We worked with Sam Hyde for a period, and it was tough. You know, he was wanting to put on his own show.
Dude, I'm sorry. That's like, an artist could not picture this better.
And he did, and it was funny, but he's not a super cooperative guy. He's very unpredictable. So involving him in our event just isn't a good idea. I think most people would.
Business risk.
I think most people would understand that.
Yeah, it's a huge business risk. I mean,
it's a personal gripe.
We're getting guys signing to agree to be within like 7 pounds.
Do they think Sam Hyde is going to come in with an MP5 and start blasting people? Also.
And you know what else is massive?
There we go.
Of each other.
Do they think Sam's gonna open fire? He's like, hey guys, the real comedy is murder and just shooting everybody.
I can't trust that. I mean, you can't really trust that. It's just hard to have trust there.
Also on top of that, it's like we've put way too much money and time into this to have one person. Also, like, do you think Dr. Mike would box on a card with Sam Hyde?
While I have no doubt that there could be people, whether it be fighters or potential sponsors.
Could you imagine the screaming match between the two of them when he got back? It's like, well, I don't know if we can get rid of Sam because that's going to make... Dude, he literally hired a fake crack addict to be his girlfriend. Do you think there's anything that he's not capable of? Like, of course, that couldn't have happened because obviously, like, iDubbbz would never raise his voice to his wife, but like...
that would pull out if they were aware of Sam's involvement. It's kind of weird that Anisa mentioned Dr. Mike, of all people, as someone who would pull out of the event. Due to this claim on the Twitter space, Sam was quick to antagonize Dr. Mike in response.
There's not one real person following Dr. Mike.
Assuming that Anisa was telling the truth. But when Brandon Buckingham did an interview with Dr. Mike and asked him about it, this is what Dr. Mike had to say.
Did you hear that he banned Sam Hyde from entering the event?
I did not. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea either, sorry.
His next Skid Row interview is going to be with iDubbbz's.
He had like front row $10,000 seats, and then he said he couldn't come to the event.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say about that. That wasn't my call.
Sad Sam Hyde at home watching this. Do you want to say shout out Sam Hyde?
Sorry.
Oh my God, bro. No way.
That happened to you.
Clearly, based on his response, not only did he have nothing to do with it, but...
Yeah, but they constantly act like this is a group decision or whatever. Maybe not Sam Hyde particularly, but like none of the fighters know anything that's happening. They're not sharing this information.
He wasn't even familiar with the situation. Obviously, based on their shifty behavior, especially later on when Sam joined the Twitter space, they just disliked Sam specifically for his political opinions and didn't want to give him a platform for him to promote himself through. Instead of being honest about it, they pivoted to talking about how hard it was to ensure all of the YouTubers they had on the card were being properly trained by real coaches and wouldn't miss weight, citing Anisa's supposed background in kinesiology to legitimize the importance of overseeing these things, which was met with a
Kines nuts, am I right, guy? I don't know what that means.
laughing emoji reaction by Sam.
I have a kinesiology background, nutrition background. So
Dude, she got a fucking background in everything, dude. She's a business mogul, a kinesiologist, dude. She's a fucking...
I'm able to kind of like
She was guiding me the whole time. Tell me what to eat, when to eat.
It seems they took an
She's got like the same fucking credentials as JF.
approach that put an unusual amount of weight on making everyone involved with the event as comfortable as possible. And in an episode of the H3 podcast from 1 month prior to the event, this was elaborated on mostly by Anisa.
Dude, Anisa Jomha, kinesiologist, business mogul, and Holocaust expert.
But here we have a pretty interesting moment. Legitimate boxing coach Michael Briggs highlights how genuine and generous Ian was when it came to things like pay, only for Anisa to butt in, talking about how fighters are exploited the same way sex workers are. But she laments that there is no equivalent of OnlyFans for them to be their own agents.
it's very similar to like the porn industry for women.
What?
The way that fighters are treated.
What? Wait, what? What? No, it's not. All right, listen, there are issues with... Dude, are you comparing yourself to like the fucking people who get sex trafficked? You gotta be a bit more specific than like porn, right? Like, yeah, there are people who I guess are kind of shafted on like pay and stuff, but like porn is also notoriously attracted to like fucking sex trafficking.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very exploited.
Do they find people at boxing gyms, throw them in a car, send them to Dubai, and have them fight in the streets, dude? Like that's
They get
that's
them
what they do.
young, and they don't tell them all the consequences, and they don't pay them properly, and they don't represent them.
I'm sorry, I got fight trafficked. I was gone for 5 years. I don't even remember it
properly. That's
like what?
That's really interesting.
They kidnap boxers and send them to Dubai.
Comparison.
Yeah, and there's no unions or anyone helping them.
No
out,
one's
so,
protecting them at all.
Yeah.
What's interesting about the porn industry lately is how women have been, or well, anyone in the porn industry can go. Like, there's so many people becoming multi-millionaires by going and making OnlyFans and doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But the boxers can't do that.
We've actually joked about it a few times, making like an OnlyFans for fighters.
Only boxers.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Wait, what do you mean? Like, why can't they just use Patreon? The point of OnlyFans is you can put whatever you want on there. They'll take all the porn. They have that. You could just, it doesn't have to be a boxing specific payment processor.
Anisa was exploited so much.
What the fuck?
She's a sex worker and boxer while also
You guys know that
50%
yeah.
lesbian and Irish.
You know that boxing is
So
not
brave.
taboo, right? Like it's not human cockfighting, what they were calling UFC and shit years ago. You know you could just go on social media and make money traditionally? It's not like it's not a taboo thing.
First off, it's kind of frustrating to see how compulsively Anisa has to make everything about OnlyFans. Michael just made a compliment to her husband, and she absolutely had to divert it into some gibberish about exploitation and how fighters.
No, because it's sitting here and she's putting her own personal struggles, like, and projecting those on everybody else around her, like usual.
Unionize to make more money. Secondly, it's not true that you can't make money in fighting.
Cockfighting, but not what you were expecting. What's wrong with you?
Being a free agent. Not only are there people like
wow, the mid boxing card entertainment was not what I was expecting.
like Kimbo Slice, who grew an audience by fighting people online before YouTube existed, but nowadays you have plenty of small, amateur, and otherwise makeshift fighting promotions operating mostly out of YouTube, such as Street Beefs, which has already succeeded at producing extremely popular fighters, like Death Sentence, who went on to become
Tom, don't act like you know who the fuck this guy is, dude. I don't know who wrote this in the script, but there's no way you've ever. Oh yeah, I'm just watching the new fucking Death Sentence fight, dude. I can't wait.
a web celebrity.
You have no idea who that person is, Tom.
Last but not least, it's only fitting that she's giving this fair pay spiel as a response to Michael Briggs, who has recently come out to say that he, along with his wife, Kate, who was recording the
Michael Briggs is like the best boxing fucking coach name ever, dude.
Training process, had accepted.
Remember was it Shannon Briggs? Is that his fucking name? Where like Tonka was like, "Let's go, champ! Come on, you're gonna beat Andy Warski. Let's go, champ!"
Accepted reduced training fees from Ian as they'd been promised exposure from the documentary that was supposed to be made out of the lead up to the first Creator Clash event. But this exposure never happened because the documentary was never made and the Briggs couple was never reimbursed.
And he said his job was to go around and like film Anisa having interactions with
the only other Briggs I know, wasn't that the teacher from Drake and Josh?
Everyone. So we didn't know if that meant they were going to make the second documentary about how, or the actual documentary about how like Anisa was responsible for the event, because she did put a lot of work in for the first event and she did put a lot of work in for the second, but at the same time,
Anisa and the word responsible does not work unless you're talking about the death of Ida. I'm kidding.
In the first event, she didn't get credit for it, so she felt like she deserved all the credit.
If that wasn't bad enough, Michael
of his career. Okay, I cut it too short.
Time training Ian,
which I don't even necessarily agree with.
Anisa tried to control what kind of music played in their gym. The thing is, plenty of other people who had nothing to do with Creator Clash were also training at that gym. So Anisa was basically demanding favoritism just so that indie music would play in the background of training footage that would never even get released. When we all know what kind of music really belongs in the gym. Worst of all is that Anisa went above and beyond being petty about Creator Clash related endeavors and developed a personal grudge against Michael. At one point, Anisa went directly to Kate and said she had no idea why.
Dude, all right, what would be funnier, right? An iDubbbz's divorce arc, or if they become polyamorous. What would be funnier? Hypothetically, which do you think would yield funnier content? Is the divorce arc or the poly arc?
They were together, saying he didn't respect women, clearly trying to drive a wedge between them for seemingly no reason. Their relationship only grew more strained as time went on, as after Kate didn't respond to Anisa's attempt, Anisa discovered Michael had some Jewish ancestry, and according to them, she became more distant, keeping them in the dark about the post-fight gala event, and eventually expressing they didn't need to be there, suggesting she specifically didn't want them to be there. Then, when the Briggs couple reached out to them for their support for a bill to end child marriage, which was relevant since Ian and Anisa knew Kate.
Dude, this is so fucking crazy, bro. It's like, hey, Anisa, we're wondering if you could support our child marriage bill. And then Anisa, obviously, we don't know what she's actually said, but in my mind, in my headcanon, she's like, no free clout. None.
Was a child
zero
marriage survivor.
Anisa would have. Oh, dude, I can't say it. It's a spoiler. Anisa would have alternate ended. If you watched the fucking show, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Were simply left on red. We'll eventually come back to the topic of the generosity of the Jamhas, and yes, the Jamhas, because Ian took her last name when they got married in 2021. Apparently just because they agreed that Ian's last name sounded bad.
The only reason why we chose my name over his last name is because his last name is like just objectively ugly. It's just like an ugly last name. Like What
do you mean?
Washburn sounds.
She didn't want to be Anisa Washburn, dude.
Horrendous. Like Anisa Washburn definitely.
I always thought it was for like doxing purposes. Like, nah, dude, fuck his family name.
It sounds horrendous.
Evil dies tonight.
Like Anisa Washburn definitely stormed the Capitol.
Oh my god, dude. Holy fuck.
For the time being, everyone got to
Dude, she sees conservatives everywhere she looks.
watch the unspoken but explicit transformation
Is that like a jab at Ian's family, too?
Ian, from a guy who had regrets about how insensitive he'd been in the past to a full-on masochist. Another milestone of this metamorphosis is about a month after the first creator clash, iDubbbz appeared on Hassan.
Ooh, that's my headcanon. She didn't like Ian's parents. That could, dude, could you imagine if that's true? It's like, yeah, you're not, we're gonna take this because the name sounds better, and then meanwhile she's like, I don't want to have the same fucking name as your parents. That would be so fucking Kino.
Hiker's stream. And of course, he was with Anisa. Again, if their objective was
We only do fan fiction on this channel, obviously.
to be simply neutral and not take any risks, Hassan would probably be out of the picture due to his overtly political online presence. But interestingly enough, that didn't seem to matter here.
You were shitting on the most like right-wing content creators of that era. Maybe not like officially positioning yourself as that, but it did feel like, I mean, you were like, you dunked on Keemstar, Rice Gum. Like, obviously these are apolitical people, but they're still like very heavily slanted to the right. Leafy.
Regardless of how much
I don't think Leafy knew who like the Democratic nominee was in 2016. I straight up don't think he knew.
online hatred they were attracting on an individual level, the first creator clash was a success, raising over $1 million.
Leafy's politics was probably the same. Like, he was probably just like, whoever lowers my taxes, you know, whoever's gonna give me the lower tax bill.
Anisa
Oh,
Washburn
you thought
sounds
I was
like a woman
talking
who
about
has her life together, as opposed to Anisa Joma, who is a living dumpster fire.
Wait, you're right. Hold on. Wait, someone in chat just wrote, oh no, he's blitzed all the time. Yeah, dude, Leafy probably doesn't even know that 2016 ended. That's probably the reality of the situation. That guy's so drugged out of his mind. He probably doesn't even know he doesn't even know it's ended.
Positioning yourself as that, but it did feel like, I mean, you were like, you dunked on Keemstar, Rice Gum. Like, obviously these are apolitical people, but they're still like very heavily slanted to the right. Leafy.
Regardless of how much online hatred they were attracting on an individual level, the first creator clash was a success, raising over $1 million for charity, selling over 100,000 pay-per-views.
Listen, dude, all I'll say right now is it's really...
What's the name of the guy? Keemstar Orbiter? Nick Oreo. Mr. Oreo.
It's really shitty to be a Leafy fan in 2025.
Packing the entire arena and having pretty much every person who attended compliment how well run and organized it was, especially compared to other influencer boxing events. The same could not be said for Creator Clash 2. In January of 2023, the second installment of the event was announced for April, which kicked Sam's online badgering of iDubbbz into high gear, to the point where people were making entire compilations out of it. However, Ian and Anisa weren't the only people in his scope, as he also began notoriously targeting Hassan Piker. In late August of the same year, Sam took part in a boxing match and dedicated his victory speech to Hassan, saying he was looking for a boxing match and maybe a little more.
Yeah, Tom, the good one.
Know that, Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you!
He didn't censor that? Really? Wow, good shit, Tom.
In Los Angeles, at your house!
Or in the ring?
No, in real life.
You can hear like he wants to start laughing.
I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him and wear his makeup and his dresses and use his skin as a coat like the ancient Irish did.
While this was pretty successful at
wow, this was pretty... Dude, that's an insane cut.
disturbing Hassan, it didn't get him any closer to
I'm sorry, it's still the funniest thing that's ever happened at a YouTube boxing event. Not a high bar to clear. The second one was the Crash Bandicoot stuff from CC2.
goal of getting to Ian, so he changed his strategy. While Harley was also slated to fight in Creator Clash 2, this time Sam connected with Froggy Fresh, a YouTuber who got big over a decade ago with comedic rap videos. Froggy was set to fight Chris Raygun, another channel that, while still active today, peaked during the 2016 anti-SJW era. All in all, a good matchup that made sense. A few minutes after Happy Punch would tweet that photo, Anisa's mother, using a sock puppet
Dude, that's so crazy. crazy. We always talk about it, but we never have the screenshots ready. Dude, Anisa Jomha's mom started fighting with Froggy on Twitter. Holy shit.
A few minutes after Happy Punch would tweet that photo, Anisa's mother, using a sock puppet account titled The Pied Piper, replied to some tweets referring to Froggy, saying she hoped they would replace
What's the
imp.
name of the
Froggy
guy?
retweeted.
Keemstar Orbiter. Nick Oreo. Mr. Oreo.
Leafy would vote for the candidate who would make marijuana and portobello mushrooms legal on a nationwide level.
True. Dude, maybe he's for the Green Party.
And replied to her tweets, referring to her by her real name and joking about iDubbbz's being a pimp. And just like that, her account was deactivated. Just one day later, the official Creator Clash Twitter account announced that Froggy would no longer be fighting at the event, which left a
It's maybe like put your mom on a leash day, you know? Like maybe just tell your mom to put the phone down and not get involved in your fucking Creator Clash event. That's the only thing that didn't happen in CC3. It's kind of a shame that Anisa's mom didn't chime in.
Bad taste in everyone's mouth. Most notably, YouTuber Jadion offered a $100,000 donation to...
I think that somebody offered to match it too, so it would be even more. And they still would have lost money on the event, by the way.
Creator Clash if they reinstated Froggy, which wasn't even considered. And none other than Moist Critical tweeted, urging them to reconsider the decision. With that many people pitching in on the matter, you'd imagine that there'd be some better reasoning for Froggy's removal made public. But instead, it was radio silence. At this point, people had...
Keffel's tweet on Nicholas DeOrio.
Oh, God. Somebody fucking said it. I gotta pull it up. Hold on.
Leafy would think the Green Party means the pro-marijuana party.
True. Dude. I'm only playing this right now because of the comment that I just made about putting the mom on a leash. Fuck. Why is it... Oh, dude, the player's fucked up here.
Down for you, Mark. Your mother and I have a relationship that is all about a master-slave dynamic. When I said she was more like a pet to me, I meant that in the most literal way possible. Remember that time you found a dog collar under the couch? And I told you it was because we were getting you a dog. That was a lie, son. Truthfully, your mom likes it when I put her on a leash and walk her around the backyard.
Dude, I urge you to watch the remainder of the Wrong Invincible clip that has 3 million views. People say that AI is bad, look at Mad at Mr. Beast, but like, unironically, it's the greatest thing that I've ever seen in that fucking clip.
Had already bought tickets for the event, and despite changing the lineup, Ian and Anisa felt they didn't even have to justify their decisions to their paying customers. Of course, there are plenty of problems with other fighting promotions, but you can easily find dozens of examples of fighters who got in.
And I'm not playing it, but the Ahsoka Tano one is even more nuclear. I don't think I'll ever play that on stream again.
The GOAT. Thank you for the $5.
The whole Ahsoka Tano one sounds like the average VTuber live stream.
Pretty extreme trouble with the heads of their promotions and still were allowed to continue fighting. In this case, even with little to no information, it was clear what was happening, although it seemed like they wouldn't admit it. They developed a personal grudge against Froggy due to the things he had said, and the fact he was training with Sam probably did.
Alright, I will say though, the joke at the end where it's like, and she was a good friend, after like the most demonic, disgusting fucking explanation of old Obi-Wan ever. It is a fucking fire meme.
Did no favors with the Jamhas either, leading to his removal.
Dude, iDubbbz's is a pathetic wretch, dude. A fucking shell of his former self, a complete and total failure. He blew up Content Cop. He blew up Creator Clash. He failed at making documentaries. He got undressed in front of Sam Hyde and it ruined his life. And he was a good friend. Dude, normalize adding that to the end of like a nuclear sentence.
From the event, despite the months of work he'd put into his training up until that point. As public pressure mounted, and people were widely perceiving the organization of Creator Clash as the unreasonable party, they decided to release another public statement. As you may be aware, we
just wrote barely legal in most start systems. Dude, I can't even talk about this out of context. It sounds insane.
Recently announced Froggy Fresh would be leaving the Creator Clash 2 ticket. We wanted to provide some additional information around the rationale for this decision to help clarify some of the online chatter. We have a legally binding code of conduct that each of our Creator Clash 2 fighters are held to, the violation of which is grounds for termination. Unfortunately, there were several violations made by Froggy Fresh during his
Yeah, dude, all the violations were specifically because my wife is mad, Ian. Sorry, my wife and her mom are mad. He's got to get off the card.
Nicholas DeOrio.
tenure with Creator Clash this year.
Appreciated the shout out.
Yo, thank you, Toucans. Miss you during your trip. Hope it was fun. Did you ever run into Ball Blacks? You should check out today's VOD, actually. It's got all the information that you're looking for.
Here, the Creator Clash 2 team, inclusive of the production company, takes violations seriously and made several unsuccessful attempts to address them directly with Froggy Fresh in the hopes we could work together to get things back on track. When it became...
I'm sorry. I don't know. We're almost done with this. I'm probably not going to watch the rest of it. I think this is good, but we're 30 minutes into an hour and 20-minute video, and I feel like we've gotten to current day. Have I ever told you the story of Boblax? Well, he created Twitterverses in 2019, and then me and Augie made videos with him, and we were all good pals. Augie would make a live stream that would create drama, and then Boblax copyright strike fair use videos, but he was always willing to try and make up for it. Boblax was not always the most cunning on his feet. He was oftentimes annoying to be on streams with. Then everything changed when his penis leaked onto the timeline.
Nicholas DeOrio.
On 111, Boblax's porn was on the pages of every young fan in the galaxy. Illegal in most star systems. And he was a good friend. I can't. Dude, I can make a really good one of those if I actually write it and script it and do it offline. I might make a meme of that. And put it in the next video. Yeah, I think I could do that better if I actually script it and try. Holy shit.
Clear that the exhibited behavior wasn't stopping. At risk to the other fighters, fans, and others involved in the event, the Creator Clash 2 team made the collective decision to move forward without Froggy Fresh on the ticket. Our #1 priority...
Yeah, I'll make a YouTube short of that. I will do it. Dude, imagine if I use AI voice. Like, I like record it and then AI voice it to sound like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Is ensuring Creator Clash 2 is a positive, safe, welcoming space for everyone. While their statement ended with a note about how much money had already been donated to charity, this did very little to satisfy people, including Froggy, who replied saying that he still hadn't been told what he did to warrant this treatment.
I fought by him during the second Creator Clash.
He later retweeted this statement and claimed to have been threatened with a lawsuit if he spoke out about what was going on, and was asked to return the $15,000 he was given for the previous 5 months of training, which had already taken place. Oddly, after taking every opportunity to emblazon themselves as the face of the event, suddenly Ian and Anisa...
It's like, wow, guys, you got all the credit for being the host of the event until the day it got bad. Now, whoa, shit, we're just part of this thing. We're not running this show.
Were nowhere to be found, and everybody was getting stonewalled by the faceless and robotic answers of the official account. Despite this hang-up going pretty much unexplained, the event went forward, and according to Anisa herself, the arena was packed, despite Taylor Swift holding a show simultaneously, which, in a reply, Anisa claimed made the hotels for the fighters a lot more expensive.
Oh my god, dude.
Although Froggy's abs...
When did they announce Taylor's fucking dates? It has to be before the boxing, right? Why would you do that to yourself?
Since didn't seem to make that much of a difference for the majority of the people who attended, it made a huge difference for Chris Ray Gun, who he was supposed to fight.
Dude, yeah, it was. It was a pretty fucking massive difference,
And do you know what else is massive?
It was a pretty fucking massive difference for Chris, dude. Dude, brace yourself. I know we're going to see something funny here.
Instead of 5'2" Froggy, 5'4" Chris got matched up against 5'10" William Haynes, who was almost 10 pounds heavier than him. Unsurprisingly, he was TKO'd in the second round pretty brutally. Finally, after the event had ended, Ian revealed the real reason for Froggy's removal.
The main reason Froggy was kicked from the
Dude, not only did it hurt Anisa more than it hurt Chris. That's what they say. That's what they're saying back there. They're saying it hurt Anisa more to see her her former flame go down like that.
Was for collaborating with Sam Hyde. And,
the one that got away.
For anyone who's been following the story, that's, fairly obvious. Froggy has explained, his side of the story multiple times. And unfortunately, he's been perpetuating a narrative that it's about OnlyFans or that it's about Anisa's mom. And that's extremely deceptive, because he knows why he was kicked from the card, The one indication I gave him was Sam Hyde, and I wasn't unclear about that.
It just happened to have happened 24 hours after he got into a fight with your fucking wife's mom.
Additionally, he claimed through a series of text messages that Froggy knew exactly why he'd been terminated and had been pretending otherwise for attention. While it is a bit odd that the announcement of the termination only came after Froggy's interaction with Anisa's mom, it was made clear in the text that he was given fair warning to not work with Sam in relation to his match in Creator Clash 2, but he proceeded to do so anyway, claiming that Ian had no power over who he was friends with. In this specific case, even if the reason for the termination can be considered frivolous, it was—
Why can he police who's training him if Ian is just giving these people reimbursements? Shouldn't you then offer to provide a trainer for him if you don't want him to train with X fighter? And why can't it be that he can't come to the event then explicitly, but you're going to still kick the fighter off for making content with— I don't know, it's extremely stupid.
clear Ian was telling the truth, and Froggy had been omitting it. However, in the same video, Ian claims that they had no interest in suing him and that he had been lying about that. But as it turns out—
And again, I think the reason why they weren't forthcoming with the Sam information is because they didn't want to admit they blackballed him from the entire fucking event, not realizing that everybody had already put it together, that the Creator Clash event was VidCon, but only in like Anisa and Ian's friend group, right? With like little short deviations. It was the ability to have creator parties without like, you know, the other creators coming.
Actually received a letter that not just notified him of his termination, but also demanded that he cease and desist from speaking about the event, and asking for the refund of the
Yeah, they sent him like a legal notice and then got really insulted that people thought that he was going to get sued over it.
$15,000. Now, there are only two possibilities here. Either Ian knew the contents of this letter and lied about it on his video, or this section was included by someone without his knowledge, which led him to make this video not knowing that they had, in fact, threatened Froggy with a lawsuit. But neither possibility—
No, because Alana put out a video and like, we never were going to sue him. Oh, they never were going to sue him. They just sent him a cease and desist, dude. It was like a fan-friendly fucking engagement. Yeah.
Did Ian, Anisa, or the event at large look very
But
good?
again, that's my position. Ian lied. It doesn't matter if Anisa told him to. He got on stream and lied. He got on video and lied. Who cares, bro? I don't know. It takes away... Like, I'm not like shitting on Tom specifically for this, but I feel like when you always add the caveat, like, maybe Anisa made him do it, it gives you an opportunity to make an excuse for iDubbbz, who absolutely does not deserve your charitability. He lied. I don't think he was forced to do it. I think he's happy to do it. He's a loser.
Regardless of the details of the situation and their back and forth, it was just one aspect of the event, which up until that point wasn't signaling any issues. Until, well...
Yeah, unironically, iDubbbz is so fucking pathetic, they're treating him like a woman in a drama. And what I mean by that is they're stripping away her agency to make her the victim. Only her is him in this case, right? Like, you know how it's basically like, oh, women's rights, women's rights, women's rights. Then a woman gets into a drama, and then all of a sudden her agency has been completely stripped away, right? Like she cannot make any decisions in this conversation at all whatsoever. Everything that's being done to her is fucking awful or whatever. The way that they're treating Ian right now is they're stripping all of his agency away. Like, he can't make decisions for himself. In this position, he is the abused. You know what I mean? Like, he has been forced to say all of these things by an abusive spouse or whatever.
It signaled every possible issue. On the 3rd of July, iDubbbz posted a video titled "The Harsh Reality of Creator Clash 2," where he revealed they had lost $250,000 on the event.
For Creator Clash 2, you know, despite it being a fun event and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000.
This was like the greatest fucking day of my... I'm kidding, but like, unironically, top 5, yeah. Holy fuck, dude. I felt like a genius when I was saying that event was going to fail. I didn't actually know it was going to lose money, but holy fuck, dude, was this funny when it happened.
The event.
It's unclear here if with we he meant him and Anisa, or...
You know when you write LOL and you're just like fucking straight-faced and you don't even mean it? Dude, I was typing LOL while I was sitting there like struggling. I was dying when I found this out.
He meant them and Real Good Touring, Catering, the company with which they work to host the events. There's also Mike Leonardi, the silent co-founder of Creator Clash, so I wonder if he's included here, which matters because although there may be an overall net loss, it's deceptive the way it's not specified how exposed Ian and Anisa were to it, meaning we don't know how much of that $250,000 is their personal loss. Immediately after, Ian says they weren't even able to pay off the minimums, which include the money for everyone's traveling, hotel, and training expenses.
Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point.
And again, remember, they were offered $200,000. It was $100,000 from Gideon, and someone offered to match it. They were offered $200,000 for the event from like people wanting Froggy back on. So in like a hypothetical world where they brought Froggy back, the event still loses $50,000.
Right? We're $250,000 in the red. I foolishly thought that the success of last year should be a minimum. You know, a minimum for what we are able to do this year. And that wasn't true.
Well, I can't comment.
Maybe you guys shouldn't feel bad for these YouTubers anymore. Who here can eat $250,000 and then run a third event? I'm just curious. You got to remember, these guys make a lot of fucking money. Whatever you think these YouTubers are making, it's probably 10x what you actually think they are.
On the cost of each of these things individually, since they haven't been publicized by Ian, it's been pointed out that paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for each participant's training is an insane thing to do. And it's surprising that he doesn't even consider this maybe was an issue. If you actually watch the event, only 5 of the 12 fights even went the distance, and no one looked good as far as being a technical boxer is concerned. Clearly, they were all people who only took up the sport recently, and the thing is, that's not even a problem. Creator Clash and other events like it aren't professional or Olympic boxing events. It's not being watched by seasoned boxers.
You picked that clip on purpose. There's no way he picked this clip by accident.
Events like it aren't professional or Olympic boxing events. It's not being watched by seasoned boxing connoisseurs who expect the...
Is that that's this one, right? Actually, maybe it's not that one. No, okay, it might be a different one. I'm getting totally owned.
Fighters to be excellent. It's primarily being watched by viewers of the YouTubers who are taking part. And again, if it's not obvious enough,
there are people who watch the UFC and they're like, "Oh fuck, dude, no way."
Who are fans of Aaron Hansen.
Like they'll like fucking walk, like their normie friends will be watching the UFC and they'll be like, "Oh fuck, dude, that's where Rape Review came from."
And aren't fans because of how well he boxes. Their job as entertainers is to entertain, and influencer boxing is one of the venues through which they can do that. But probably due to how much Ian and Anisa emphasized that they had to take the whole thing seriously and dedicate themselves to training, the majority of the people here were not posting content related to Creator Clash 2. As it was pointed out by one commenter, even iDubbbz's was guilty of this, as he, the co-founder and promoter in name only of the event, wasn't making content out of the lead up, which is something he actually did in Creator Clash 1. In this harsh reality video, Ian mentions that all of the creators all had to put
Who the fuck? Orpheus, Erudite needs to get on this card. Where the fuck did that come from? What the fuck is Erudite doing these? I haven't thought of Erudite in months, bro. Is she like boxing now? Like what? Or are you saying that she should be like next in line to get CTE?
Their careers on
I don't know if I disagree.
Hold while training for it, which is precisely the opposite of what they should do. Unsurprisingly, plenty of people didn't even know the second event was happening.
What?
And if they did, they had no idea when. The content creators, who were paid a decent amount of money to show up, were incentivized to not do the one thing they can actually
Erudite versus Brittany Simon. I feel like Brittany Simon's got to fight Aiden. Whoever wins gets to keep their face.
Good at creating content. And even that is being generous, since most of these guys didn't get any
There can only be one
significant amount of views, meaning they couldn't promote the event even if they wanted to. I don't want to be disrespectful to these people, but the majority of them are randoms whose names don't get people buying pay-per-views, let alone tickets to the event. And yet, they're getting the same amount of money as the big names, despite bringing in only a fraction, if even that, of the total viewership. Simply put,
Was that Abriella Sabrina?
By bringing in...
Bro, again, I always say this. Does Abrielle Sabrina make content? I only know her as the one who got the It's not isotopic. We're just gonna move on. I've done this too many times.
And only a fraction, if even
No, it's not epilepsy. Stop! You're getting me in trouble.
that of the total viewership. Simply put, them
Ectopic pregnancy. That's the answer. It's ectopic. Thank you.
being there cost more than it generated in revenue.
The ionized pregnant. Fuck you, Wavy.
Ian could have dramatically reduced the costs and increased sales by only having the biggest content creators on the card. And, of course, telling them to actively promote the thing they're doing. Alternatively, if he really wanted to include smaller creators without eating a huge cost, he could do it like the UFC does to prelim fighters. Pay them a small, flat rate for showing up, another small, flat rate for winning, and let them train however
Bro, I have been telling everyone, why are you not doing prelim fighting for free and putting the rest behind paywall? It would literally get so many day of purchases if you put like 2 fights free and then paywall the rest, like every other boxing thing they have. I'm pretty sure regular boxing does prelims, right? Or am I wrong? Well, prelims are one thing. Early prelims is what I'm talking about. Like Boogie and Wings, those guys made like no money because they were an early prelim.
they want or not train at all. That way, the rest of the money could have been spent on promoting the event. No matter how much money you turn into Ash by giving it to these people for training, it won't change that these are just gimmick fights involving untrained people who will look bad in the ring. With this in mind, they should have forewent.
And it's the reason why the UFC, not the UFC, it's the reason why YouTube boxing is so shit now. Because all the people who got good at YouTube boxing stopped making content. So now they're not really YouTube boxers anymore. Nobody knows who the fuck they are, right? They're just boxers who are bad, who have like a large social media following, but never really explore outside of their niche. So their established fans like know who they are and maybe they'll buy a ticket, but like they're basically irrelevant to regular social media. I remember walking around at the castle party for one of the DAZN fights that Keemstar was doing with Happy Punch, and I was there were so many huge YouTubers there. I didn't know who the fuck these people were. I think I talked to briefly. I literally don't even know. I think that like FouseyTube is the only content creator that I remember at that party that I didn't go there with.
Everything, even weight classes, in order to make it more.
Yeah, Wavy's even here. They were all so random. It's not even just me. I wasn't even who mega lolling. I mean, some of these guys have like 3 million, 4 million subs, but then there's other people like Slim who are trying to negotiate because he's an undefeated fighter, as if that fucking matters in YouTube boxing. It's like, wow, dude, I'm glad you're working with your coach, but this is a social media popularity contest where you guys punch each other. Unfortunately, you don't command the audience that would demand that higher price pay. You're not getting KSI bucks. You're not getting any of that shit. Dude, you guys don't even post on your fucking YouTube channels anymore. Who the fuck's it? Who's giving you a pay raise for that? Like, I'm glad you're undefeated, but realistically, you could bring in somebody who's never fought before, who's got more current social media followers. They would literally yield more pay-per-views than you.
More entertaining. Other companies have proved this is possible, but Creator Clash deliberately chose not to. If the cost and requirement for having people on the card were cut, I'm sure.
Yeah, you remember Astrid? That's who it was. Her name was like Astrid Wet or something, and she's like, I'm actually the current champion. And I feel like they fucking gave her that fight, too. Do you remember that? It looked like they rigged her fucking fight. Was it that one or the other one? Astrid Wet was in a fight that looked rigged as shit.
There would be computer-bound freaks with small followings who would throw themselves in the thresher for attention, and the content they could...
Astrid did a fucking interview with Keemstar, right? I remember this. This might be a fucking... I don't know if they told this. This is a story that not every YouTuber would tell you. Astrid went and did an interview with Keemstar in the castle during that morning, and they went to go light the fireplace in the castle. And I don't know who's had parties. This castle has had, like, tons of people, celebrities and stuff who have rented it out. I'm sure none of them have done this. They tried to light the fireplace, and it wasn't a real fireplace, so they just started a fire in the middle of the house. And like the fucking smoke was flinging through or whatever. They just lit they lit a fake fireplace on fire.
Farm out of their appearance. Based on Ian's explanation of it, he believed that simply having more people on the card would generate more revenue.
I remember that like there was like fucking smoke. Yeah, they're like, that wasn't even a real fireplace. It was so funny, dude.
Without taking into consideration whether these new people had any sizable following whatsoever.
I thought, okay.
Yeah, Fousey was in a pink outfit that night. I actually was a total fucking schizo. If you know who Colton is, I sent Colton the address to the castle because I thought it would be funny. And then he showed up dressed as Michael Jackson and started dancing with FouseyTube. That was when we were outside. It was like me, Keem, and Def Noodles were like knocking back Prime and vodkas.
Okay,
You know, we're bringing on more talent, we're bringing on more creators. That should translate to more pay-per-view buys.
Even if he paid them all the same, which he might have been dumb enough to do, it's obvious that the biggest creators will bring in the crushing majority of the revenue, and the smaller ones will end up being a cost. Instead of recognizing his abysmal failure.
Yeah, the next day, Fousey went crazy. Bro, I dapped him up, and I'm like, yo, good shit, getting your life back together, bro. And he's like, thank you, G7 or something. And, like, he went to the airport the next day, and that was history, dude. It was over. It was so fucking over, dude. And he went on, like, a month-long fucking schizophrenic tangent.
Here to run his fighting event the same way all other successful fighting events are run. He instead thinks that this is the fault of not having enough anti-piracy measures.
Amongst the 800 pirated streaming sites, there were between 1.3...
Dude, this is my favorite quote from iDubbbz's. Yeah, so there was between 1 and 7 trillion copyrighted things, so that's why we didn't break even, guys. Unfortunately, there's between 1 and 10 trillion people watch this thing illegally.
800 pirated streaming...
Fault of not having enough anti-piracy measures.
Amongst the 800 pirated streaming sites, there were between 1.3 and 3 million viewers. So even though there were around 50,000 pay-per-view buys, there were around 1.3 to 3 million viewers. But we didn't have
Wait, where is this one, dude? Is this it?
2, 3.
Arrgh! We're gonna be watching the 7 Seas edition of the Creator Clash! Oh! Hey, Anisa! We're watching on the Seas of Discord! I can't.
Anti-piracy measures.
Oh, my booty!
I guarantee that if there were really effective anti-piracy measures in place, the people who didn't pay for
Dude,
it...
does anybody remember the old fucking ads where it was like, it was literally like, that music would play. It'd be like, arg, the penis pill pirates are here to take your booty. That shit gets me every time. That's the...
wouldn't suddenly cough up the money. They just wait for the fights to be released for free on YouTube. To add insult to injury, he remarks that the event
Am I the only one who knows what that is? That's the funniest shit ever, dude.
was held in an arena that was twice as big as the previous events, as they bought out a hotel and held events both before and after the fight to process the trauma of being in a fight, which he claimed was entirely necessary and not something he'd consider not doing.
You know, fighters and friends and family could come together and process their trauma. That was sort of paramount for me.
According to Ian's boxing coach, who eventually...
All right, so we've seen all this now. That's the this is the backstory that we didn't cover, the first 40. I think you should watch the rest of this on Tom's channel, not because of recent legality stuff that's been happening in the commentary space. We've been doing this long before. It was before our livelihoods were threatened by the Kleins, dude. The Kleins are out here trying to destroy us, bro. Just kidding, but yeah. I do recommend watching it. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. Spends entire career making fun of people. Gets called a cuck once. Completely changes his entire personality. No. I don't even know him as iDubbbz's anymore. I only know him as Anisa's husband now. Mark my words, that woman is going to ruin his life. Dash Sam Hyde. Imagine being trapped in an MDE skit for 2 weeks and not realizing the joke. Old iDubbbz would make a content cop on his newer counterpart. It's so crazy how Anisa and Ian look like actual people, not schizo meth heads.
The goat. Thank you for the $5.
Yeah, I mean, like, they kind of start, like, hold on. Ready? So,
Nicholas,
you see this?
The goat.
Ready?
Thank you
Actually,
for the $5,
unironically, speaking of meth heads, okay? This is Jesse Pinkman in season 1. Dude, this is Jesse Pinkman in season 1, and then this is Jesse Pinkman by, like, fucking... Wait, we gotta find a picture where he's, like, fucking shaved head, dude. Yeah, literally, Jesse Pinkman season 1 versus season fucking 4, dude. Season 5. I forgot, is there 5 of Saul, or is there 5 of Breaking... No, I think it's 5. I don't remember. Anisa is just Jane. Anisa is Jane if she survived and then killed Walter White or something. I don't know. Dude, she's a businesswoman, all right? She took over Walter White's entire business. She became like Heisengal or something. I don't know. El Camino. Yeah, dude, how does he look in El Camino, dude? in El Camino is post-divorce. That hasn't happened yet, okay? Eventually we'll know, but like we haven't gotten that far.
I just saw Keffel's tweet on Nicholas DeOrio.
Was Froggy Fresh Walter White? Dude, Froggy Fresh was Walter White on stilts. She's Skylar. I think Skylar gets too much hate. Skylar was married to a crazy meth dealer who was going to get their entire family killed. I think Skylar gets a little too much hate. But she also fucked Ted, so who knows? Dude, the Ted birthday song is one of the most fucking like cringe-inducing things I've ever seen. But unironically, I think Skylar made a lot of good points, but she fucked Ted, so obviously there's no way to go. There's no redemption arc there. Walter White might have gotten his brother-in-law killed. Could have gotten his entire fucking family killed. Actually killed multiple people, but Skylar did fuck Ted, so she's the villain of the show. Yeah. Walter Jr. doesn't get enough hate. Open the door! Open the door! Oh god, dude. That's, yeah. Walter cheated on Skylar before Skylar cheated. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Men can cheat. That's the fucking double standard, okay? How dare you be a woman and do it? That's the problem here. That's what we're not understanding, okay? That's what you're not fucking understanding, chat. Dude, I sound like Turkey Tom when he's talking. Dude, open your mind, okay? That's what you gotta... Who did Walt cheat with? I don't think Walt... Well, yeah, you could argue Walt cheated when he tried to, like... Walt kind of tried to rape that teacher. That is something that everyone forgets that Walt did. But she was, like, not into that at all. And he just started just fucking grabbing her and shit. I don't know. I think he... I don't know what was happening there, but I think it's not clocking. Yeah, Walter tried to fuck the principal, and I don't think the principal was down, so... You don't remember that? He basically just... He didn't... There was literally nothing there... And he just started going for it. Yeah. You don't remember that? I'm not going to pull it up, but like, everyone forgets that happened. Yeah. I don't think he was going out of his way to do that on purpose, but it's so obvious that was not something that like, they directed it in a way where she was not into it at all whatsoever. He got fired. Yeah, it's when he got fired. Didn't he do that to get fired? No, I think he did that because he thought that she was down. I don't think he intentionally did that to get fired. Maybe my media literacy is fucked right now, but I think he was like so like I remember it as him being like so confident that he was just like, yeah, whatever, everyone will do this. Walter White was jealous. Oh, Walter literally essayed Skylar. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think of that.